What's going on, people? Welcome to Throwdown, episode 93. I am your host, Tony Polanco, and I'm joined by Emilio Lopez.
Back in action.
And that's all the regulars. And tonight we got a bunch of crazy fill-ins. So let's start with my man, Robert Workman. This is your third, appearance here, man.
I'm telling you, it's almost like you guys can't get enough of me, which, unlike JVB over there.
Oh, man. All right, we got, it's been a long time. This is probably the first big guest we ever had on Throwdown. Mr. Andre Tipton, Otaku Man.
Yeah, brother.
Welcome back.
What is up, my brothers?
Yeah, my man. And, okay, this dude, I've been trying to have him on the Throwdown forever, but he's always sleeping early and shit. We can't have him
working on elevators and salt and sheep.
Having to do responsible things like go to work the next day.
Yeah. Shit. So, my man...
Gotta pay for that foot fetish somehow.
My man, Jose Betancourt, JVB, what's going on, brother?
Thank you for having me on, and it's a pleasure to be podcasting with you guys. Even the DCD, I'll give him credit. It's been a long time, and whenever he and I are in the same show, it's never something that people are going to forget. Simply because of the look of his looks alone are embedded in people's minds, and they're gonna have a hard time.
It's hard to get over all this handsomeness, I know.
But yo, Tony, really quick, bro.
What's up, brother?
Yeah, I had my mic on mute because I had to crack up because the way you were like, yo, everybody be quiet, I'm gonna play this soundbite, and then you were staring at the monitor like crazy hard.
Like that?
It's really hard too. You're like,
I didn't even realize that shit.
Like, I'm gonna fuck somebody up.
Gonna run over you with my chair. Don't think I won't.
Quick story for you guys, right? So if you look at my Twitter, that profile picture, JVB took that picture, right? And I told him I wanted a picture that's less aggressive. He's like, yo, you still look like you're gonna fuck somebody up. Hey, listen, I can't, I'll soft up a little bit, but I gotta be hard, man. Can't let them think I'm soft,
Yeah, I hear you, bro.
It could be worse, JVB one time took a picture like this. I don't know what happened with that. Like he was about to attack a hyena somewhere in Queens.
Damn. This is part of the reason I wanted you guys on, man. Crazy shit. But before we start, we're going to introduce everybody properly. But Andre, man, what's been going on with you? And feel free to just let everybody know what's been happening with you and all that,
I'm trying not to bring the show down. Everybody knows my fiance passed away on May 29th, so I'm just basically trying to just get back into the swing of things and just trying to keep the site rolling and get back into podcasting and going back to writing and stuff like that. So doing a bunch of stuff. We're doing a bunch of tributes and stuff to her, and I guess I let it out now where I'm writing a book on her life because if you know the kind of stuff she's been through in her life, like her brother told me, it was like, she's like 350 years old, right? I'm like, yeah, because 3 normal people couldn't gone through her life. It was just, it's crazy. Dude, it's crazy. But we're doing a book, and I got some good people that owe me some favors from back in the day, and they found out and they said, hey man, when you finish that book, you let us know. We're gonna take the book and we're gonna write the screenplay for you, and all you gotta do is shop it around. And I was like, dude, for real? He's like, yeah. So once I get the book done, I'm gonna hopefully get the book done next year, and then we'll be shopping that screenplay probably another year or two after that. So hopefully it'll work out. But other than that, man, just trying to game and trying to keep my family together and stuff like that. So I'm doing what I can, trying to play as much as I can.
Yeah, that's good to hear, man, because I know you for the longest time there. You were taking some time to recover. I know how it is to lose a loved one, man. It hits you right here. It does. But I'm glad to hear you're back on your feet. And it sounds like your screenplay is going to work a lot better than the one JVB was shopping around. Not without my horse. Man. Some sort of true story. I don't want to get into it. It didn't work out. Michael Bay didn't even touch it. That's how bad it is.
Ubo signed on to
Ubo, right? He's
Uwe Boll's, yeah. He hasn't tried Uwe Boll yet. He's just got to find which dumpster he's sleeping in lately.
Hey, but Andre, man, I'm not like super religious, but God bless you, man.
Oh man, God bless you guys, man.
And it hurt me when I found out.
Oh man, all you guys have been everybody has been just so gracious, man. It just made, I knew she was loved, but I was like, man, people are actually reaching out to me. I'm like, okay, maybe I'm all right then. I guess I'm all right.
Yeah, you've always been all right,
so
brother.
You got people who got you back there, Andre.
Yeah,
Oh man, I appreciate that, dude. I appreciate
No
that.
problem.
If it makes me feel like I'm actually doing, I'm doing some good work now. So it's cool. I appreciate it, man.
You've been doing good work for like a long time, brother.
Yeah, no kidding.
Don't sell yourself short, man.
Nah, man. I was telling, like I put that post up yesterday on Facebook. It was just like I was sitting there thinking about it. I was like, man, I took 5 years away from the industry and just sat back and watched it. And then I was like, and I was just sitting there talking. I'm telling you, man, I just met people online. We were sitting there playing. Me and Swift, Gary Swaby.
Yeah.
Was sitting there playing on Xbox, man, and we were talking about the industry, and I told him what I used to do and stuff like that. He's like, "Oh man, I think I know you. I think I've read some of your stuff, blah blah blah." And I was like, "Man, yeah, I'm thinking about getting back into it." Oh man, and then next thing you know, I'm with the coalition and and Platform Nation, and everybody's like, "Hey, come on in." And next thing you know, I'm back in the game.
That's awesome. People can never leave the game, man. Like even if they say they're gonna leave, they always come back. Yeah,
I mean, I know JVB. You're not. Are you still doing post game report, or did you hold that off just to do? Okay, so you're still. You're still in the game, even though you're fixing I swear to God, JVB's part.
Not the man's job, son.
He's either insulting me or he's taking pictures of elevators he's working on for the day. And I'm usually happier to see the elevators.
No, I will say that right here in this particular moment, this is the community that we all began with. Not all these freaking trolls. Can I curse, Tony?
Yeah,
dude,
go ahead.
You fucking
I know
better.
you curse like
Go
a
ahead,
motherfucker,
man. That's what we got the disclaimer for.
Oh gosh darn it, fiddlesticks.
These fucking assholes who are occupying our timelines, no matter where we look, and dragging down the community that a bunch of us here, that all of us here had something to do with from the very beginning. This is truly the community that 10 years ago I began interacting with, and we're all friends. So I mean that's evident right here. So that bullshit you see on Twitter where guys are like freaking bringing down the community and the culture, that's not who truly represents.
And one big part of that, I really want to bring this up because I know we're going to talk about the show a little bit later, but when EVO aired Sunday night on ESPN2, and all these motherfucking haters come out of the woodwork and everything like that,
I was so proud. I was so fucking proud. Oh my, you don't even know.
I'm telling you. But I mean, a lot of us stuck at it, and I think a couple of them converted. Like I saw this one guy's like, "Oh, why is ESPN2 joining this?" Like an hour later, okay, I'm intrigued.
This is awesome. See, I love that. But we'll get into that later. But
we'll get into later. Yeah, but you get my point.
Yeah,
some haters like that. It's just nuts.
It's ridiculous. We're going to talk about haters too. But Jose, since this is the first time on Throwdown, please tell everybody what you're all about. Brief, history lesson, all that shit.
You love long walks on the beach.
I host the Post Game Report podcast, which you can find on iTunes or at talkingaboutgames.com. I also reinvigorated a podcast I used to do with my son called the Anything Podcast, but he's too cool to podcast with Dad now, so I use that podcast to basically talk about whatever the hell I feel like talking about, like farting in the elevator and wondering if I shitted on myself. That was one of my freaking episodes. So it's off the cuff, whatever the hell pops in my head. I also do YouTube. And back in the day, I used to podcast with Fumo Jive and Podtacular, or on Podtacular, which was all Halo. And it's actually still around. You can find them at podtacular.com. So I'm also doing some other things currently, but can't talk about them. But I'm still, like DCD was saying, I'm still in the game, just not as often as I used to.
That's awesome, man. Now I gotta ask you guys, how did you two meet, man? Like even all three of you, how did y'all meet? Because I gotta learn about this. Because me, I got into this game 4 years ago, but you guys been in it longer than that. So I was like hearing these like origin stories, how people met and stuff. You guys are crazy. Like, hold on, a quick thing. You know how I found out about you, Robert? I found out about you because Jose would always talk shit about you. Like, like who is
he does. This is DCD. His teeth are so yellow he spit out corn. Look at that.
Who is this dude, man?
all right, fine. I will explain my end. So, a few years ago, I got into podcasting with a show called The Gamers Garage with Crash, Tommy, a female host. We had several female hosts. And, like, one of the early episodes that we did was with JVB from the Post Game Report. And we had him on, and it was a ridiculous episode. Crash kept playing this sound sample of Tobey Maguire acting like Keanu Reeves. I know Kung Fu. And it was a show that went completely off the rails, but we had such fun with it. And ever since, like JVB would always stop by the Gamers Garage, I started to stop by more Post Game Report. Then I got off the Gamers Garage and I went to Post Game Report for a little while. And I was the token white guy on Post Game Report. And I swear to God, there were a lot of great episodes. I mean, it ended abruptly because I got pissed at Soldier X for the dumbest reason in the world. Basically, he told me I should have been in the audience when that Batman screening took place and all those people got shot.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's not know.
That was fucked up.
We're like,
I know. I was like, damn, that's a little tough on me, isn't it? Anyway, I did get his ass brought when we had a rap battle. There was an episode where, I don't know, was it TG1 Eddie there, JVB, who called, like, free Charles and everything like that, and JVB was already like, hit it, Wonder Bread, and he was...
Yeah, I called him Wonder Bread. And
then I went and I owned everybody with my rap battle. Well, Soldier X primarily, because all he could do was, I have more sheep than Farmer Bleep.
It was a typical episode of PGR.
Yeah. So, I mean, I've known JVB for years, and it's just lately it's just been a bunch of back and forth jokes, but it's all in good jest and everything like that. And we have some of the weirdest stuff, like he'll bring up all these Arnold quotes, like, Benny, what's going on, Benny? And for some reason, we share this picture of Dom DeLuise dressed up as him from the Cannonball Run.
Oh, man.
Most amazing thing of him.
Yeah, we could basically not say a word for like 4 months, and then all of a sudden just pick up where we left off.
Yeah, I know. I mean, if there's one thing JVB is good for, it's being an ass.
Yeah,
I'm an ass right back. I don't care. But it's always good. I mean, we had a lot of great episodes of podcasts between like Gamers Garage and Post Game Report, and then it was a great way for me to find the groove that I wanted with podcasts, just kicking back and having fun and not worrying about, fucking around with some sort of format or anything like that, or making it something we didn't want it to be. It was just kicking back, even when it got silly. Like at one point, JVB was doing the Arnold rap and everything. Like, shake your hoochie, you little coochie. My name is Arnold, so come here and do me, and something like that. He does it better. I do a very terrible. I have it. I played it today.
He has it on repeat. That's the only song he has on his iPad.
No. I have I have several episodes actually. We also did one where what was it? The Sony outage from 5 years ago when PlayStation Network went down, and we said it was like Major Nelson and his crew, and everybody's impersonating Major Nelson. Yes, dudes, let's do it. It is
Hi, this is Larry Herb from Xbox Live.
Actually, I keep telling him this sounds like Charles Nelson Riley from Match Game.
Oh man.
So we do have a history. But I think it's a fun one, and me and JVB, we jib on each other, but it's all in good time. I mean, if it was me and Soldier X, I'd kick Soldier X's ass, because what he said was fucking bullshit. And
that's crazy.
JVB has always been that sort of guy, and I can rely on him on that, and it's always good to be like, here's a picture of you as Harry from Harry and the Hendersons.
Yeah, that was good, actually. So,
I'm going to stop the show right now, because let's see if this works. Let's see if you guys can hear this shit.
Ah, shit. That's wrong. That's wrong, brother.
Has arrived. The music.
Somebody's gonna die.
Shut up!
You guys hear this?
To its original state.
Are you like whispering in this?
No, it's the phone audio.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. What I'll do is for the MP3 version, I'll throw
Florida of it's where he's talking as Arnold.
He anticipated.
What is this shit?
He recorded an Arnold rap a few years ago. He's like, I'm going to sing. Here it is.
Come on, Billy. DJ for me now. I'm going to bust out some rhymes, and it's going to sound awesome.
Well, how drunk were you when you did this shit?
That's right.
That's the fucked up part. I
I
don't
want you
drink.
to bake me some cookies because I am hungry. You tell him, Benny, and stop cursing. This is my debut album. What the hell's wrong with you?
Have you ever heard of a band called Austrian Death Machine? Have you ever heard of a band called Austrian Death Machine? It kind of reminds me. It's like rap version of that.
That's hilarious.
Listen to me.
Screw you, Benny.
Screw you, Benny. Now I gotta ask Andre, how did you meet these clowns, man?
Man, I met these guys on, like, I met everybody when I first got back in on Twitter. I met these dudes on Twitter, and it's just it's the crazy. I don't even know how some kind of like crazy 6 degrees of separation way. I don't know how this works. It's like I knew somebody, and they knew them, and it just we just kept, and then it just spider web.
They know two guys.
Yeah, and then they knew too, and it just went like wildfires. Like all of a sudden, next thing you know, I'm like, oh my God, who are these dudes? And where did I? It's like I know me and Robert have bumped into each other somewhere at a convention at E3 or CES, somewhere back in the day.
The smell would have verified.
Yeah, I would have. Yeah, it might have been why I woke up in the EGM van, you know, with a weird little hat on. I was like, where's this hat? Where is this hat? Dude, what the hell am I doing here? I had my clothes on, though. I had my clothes on. I was glad about that. But
so it wasn't JVB. Okay.
I had some crazy like controllers and stuff on me. I don't know where all these wires come from. What the hell's going on? No, man, it's like I run into people like now that's like, oh man, I remember when you interviewed me like back in the '90s. I was like, dude, you remember that? It's like I'm running into people from Japan. It's like, oh yeah, I know you, man. I remember when you. I was like, okay, all right, cool, man, all right, we'll still kick it, you know. I mean, if I can interview you again, whatever. It's just, I don't know, man. This industry is just so, I don't even know how to describe it, man. It's like you cannot see anybody for like 5-10 years, and then next thing you know, you run into them, and it's like you just saw each other yesterday.
Yeah,
you know, and it's just. That's what I love about our community, man. It's just so crazy.
You are on PGR, right?
Yeah, I was been on there a couple of times.
Yeah.
Maybe one when I was actually on and be like, ah, shit.
Oh man, but yeah, since we're talking about the industry, let's get into our main topic here. This is a perfect one for you guys. You guys have been around for a while, so obviously we love gaming. We love, we wouldn't be doing any of this shit if we didn't love gaming, right? But it seems to me lately things are a little bit amiss, right? We got these like endless remasters, unfriendly consumer practices, political agendas, fanboy lunacy, and just like, I don't know, it just seems like enthusiasm is just going down the drain. So I don't know, man, like, do you guys think like something is amiss within the gaming industry? And if there is, how can we fix it? Jose, let's start with you, man, since you're the first timer here. And everybody just feel free to jump in afterwards.
I don't know if it's so much how do we save gaming, because it's such a huge money-making industry. It's not going anywhere. We're not gonna see the crash of '83 all over again.
Nah, it's more like, how do you bring gaming back to its glory days? Like the shit we remember.
If you think about it, we've seen some amazing titles this generation, but in between seeing these titles, we do get a lot of remasters. We do get, unfortunately, patch after patch or DLC included in every freaking game, and sometimes we get games that aren't truly completed. I know you had a huge issue with Street Fighter V.
Oh man, don't get me started.
So it's unfortunately, and I tell this to everybody, it's not the community, it's not the culture, it's not even the developers, it's the publishers, the ones supporting these titles, giving these developers the resources to build these games. And when they say we need this out by the holidays, the shit is going to come out during the holidays, unless, of course, you're Bungie or you're Rockstar. But not everybody can do that. So unfortunately, these are the ramifications. If you want to build a game with a big studio, you have to abide by the publisher's rules. And they're, unfortunately, are the ones currently dictating the market. But in reality, we're the ones who can dictate the market. But we always, I'm saying we as a whole, we always get pissed off at certain practices, but we continue to support it because we love video games so much.
Yeah, you're right about like DLC and shit. Like, come on, like Horse Armor, you guys remember all that, right? If people didn't buy that shit, they wouldn't keep doing more of that. But we bought it, and it keeps on going. But again,
these are the things that they wouldn't know, like Horse Armor and stuff like that. Are usually the things that they would give you if you beat the game like 10 times over. Like, hey,
Well, that is one thing at least Street Fighter V has working in its favor. You don't need to buy the characters. You can just use the in-game cash. But it is pretty much shipped incomplete. I mean, now it's starting to get complete, like 4 months after its release.
Yeah.
But a big problem I have isn't so much some of the games that are coming up, because it's a business model. I mean, we have people who are going to crank out Destiny and The Division until the end of time, and that's just the way it is. The problem is with some of the practices and the effects it has on some of the community. Because, like we said earlier in the show, there are a bunch of fucking negative Nancys out there now that live for nothing more than to trash the industry, like females in the industry, like the Gamergators just exist to be friggin' hate trolls, and it's absolutely ridiculous. And then on top of that, you have like all these certain controversies, like this whole thing with Warner Brothers paying off YouTube people to promote Shadow of Mordor, when the game by itself was enough to stand as it was, because that put a lot of questionability into the press in general. I mean, like, who's bribed, who's not, or anything like that. If you fly in to check out this game or anything like that, is that technically count as a bribe? No, it's not to me. I'm covering the game like I would normally. But, I mean, like, some of these people just see the negativity and they feed off it. Like, it's their world. Like, they can't live unless they're trashing something. Like, oh, what's Nintendo doing re-releasing this plug-and-play $60 shit? Fuck that, when in fact it should really be about positivity. We're celebrating the return of these classics. The NES Mini is a genius idea. It's going to sell like bonkers this holiday season. Everybody's getting one. Even JVB will get one.
That thing's going to outsell the Wii U, man. I guarantee it's going to outsell the Wii U this year.
It is. But you have the haters out there who just be like, well, why the hell can't we have the NX or something like that? There's always this negativity, and that to me is what's really hurting the industry, are these people that just live to trash everything. I mean, case in point, Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. New trailer comes out, right?
Yeah.
And it goes into space. People automatically think, well, fuck, they're taking a Halo route. Fuck this game. 3 million dislikes in a matter of a week or a couple of weeks after the trailer premieres. Meanwhile, Battlefield 1, we're going back to World War II. Most liked game ever.
World War I.
Yeah, World War I.
World War I. I'm sorry, but you get it.
I've never seen a World War I game.
But here's the thing. Infinite Warfare, from what I've seen so far, is not a bad-looking game. It's just a new idea. That's the thing. And like, all these people are bugging, all these developers for new ideas. They come up with them, and wait a minute, this isn't what I wanted. So they're feeding off the negativity again. It's like, we wanted a change in Call of Duty. You got it, but you hate the change.
You can't win.
You can't have it both ways. What did you want, Call of Duty Ninja? Then you'd be like, well, it doesn't have fucking guns.
It takes
Seriously. I mean, all this negativity, people, especially Gamergators, they are fucking notorious. Anytime like a female goes through something, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, no, but to be fair though, I'm not, again, because I was never super against Gamergate, at least in the beginning, because they were calling out these journalists, like our favorite guy, Ben Kuchera, for some of the down talking they did, But
that's part of the negativity.
I think with a lot of movements, like Gamergate has the biggest issue of not having one focus. There's absolutely no point.
They're all over the board.
Exactly.
And they do negativity. They thrive on negativity. If you have a point, argue against that point, but don't make it about the point. Well, fuck this, fuck everything. Don't do it like that. Explain what's wrong with it.
Because there was no person there. There was no specific person or people saying that this is the way we work. We do this, and we do this. No. It's like, okay, now it's everything. It's like, oh, well, I hate this. Oh, we should talk about this. We should talk about this.
It's become hate-mongering.
Then it goes all over the place.
Yeah. You know what? As good as social networks are for presenting news right away, because a lot of us get our news on social networks because it could be presented to us immediately instead of having somebody write for a website and then the editor-in-chief overlooks everything and then they got to publish it, blah, blah, blah. We all know that process very well. But the positivity that goes in with social networks can also be a huge negative because the more noise you make against something on social networks, you're going to get the freaking retards who are going to join you. And the more noise you make on social networks, the more attention you receive. Tony, we've talked about this.
Yeah.
You know, putting out good quality work pales to comparison to the idiots on YouTube or social media. So.
Oh yeah, and one example, Leslie Jones, who stars in the new Ghostbusters movie, she actually made a point about Twitter. I mean, she basically called all of these haters on Twitter, and just like clockwork, here they come, making all these racist comments, making all these fuckwad comments.
Ooh,
You know,
yeah,
exactly.
man,
And it's awful. It is. I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's like I can't even imagine, like. That's the thing that kills me about the industry. I love the innovation from indie developers. I even like some of the AAA projects coming. As a journalist, I'm allowed to do that. So it's my opinion, and everybody has one, you know? But the thing is the negativity. You're going to have people that are going to probably trash Gears of War 4 because it's not on PS4 or some shit like that. Or why Rise of the Tomb Raider's cover art looks so much like Uncharted the Collection or whatever. They just drive on negativity. And it's become, to them, an obsession to be negative to make themselves feel better. And that's not how it's supposed to work.
See, that's what's so crazy. Like, I've got a really unique perspective of it because I was gone for a while. When all these websites started coming up and all this stuff started happening, I was watching this stuff like, what is going on? And I said, let me get in this and see what's going on. My problem, and I'm probably gonna get a lot of flack for this. I'm sorry. It's the gamers. I'm sorry.
A lot of the
gamers are just so. They're such. Tony, I've heard this.
Yeah.
You've heard me say this 100 times. They are such spoiled brats. It's not even funny. It's like the whole industry is like. It's like everybody's a millennial.
Yeah,
it's like,
man. Don't get me started.
It's like,
millennials, man.
I don't mean. I'm not trashing the millennials. I'm just saying it's like everybody's like, well, I paid $60 for the game. I should have everything that comes along with it. No, dude, no.
And they actually sound like that too.
I call it the participation trophy era.
Yes.
They don't want to earn.
See,
they don't want to earn something.
And that's my thing with these people. I'm like, I'll get on and I'll hear somebody on YouTube go off about a game or something. I'm like, okay, coding is pretty much everywhere. If a 12-year-old kid can make an app and make $1 million, make your own damn game. If you want to make your own shit, you can make a game now. You can make a Flash game. You can make it whatever you want. You can make any little game you want. Make your own shit. If you don't like the way, like for me personally, we were watching the Sony press conference and that fucking Call of Duty trailer came up. I was like, man, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
And I saw that gun. I was like, that's Call of Duty. Holy shit.
Yep.
And I'm like. And
meanwhile, people online were trashing the shit out of it because this is Call of Duty. What? No, it's Halo. Ugh.
And it's like I kind of was like that with Destiny. I was kind of like, man, this is Halo. Come on, man. But then I played it. I was like, okay, I got in it. I was like, okay, this is new. But then it's at the same time we all want innovation. We all want the game companies to come up with to come up with these innovative ideas. And then when somebody does it, nobody buys it.
Yeah, that's always the problem.
You bitch about it's the same thing every time. It's the same. Oh, it's the same old. Then, dude, buy the shit that you like and fucking move on. Come on, it's just
shit. Find something you like.
That's the reason why a lot of people say whenever you're creative, people don't exactly know what they want. They say they know what they want, but they don't actually know what they want until you.
You don't know what you want until they experience it for themselves and go, wow. It's kind of like
you actually make it.
Case in point. Let me just bring up something here real quick. Let's talk about Tom Clancy's The Division. For the longest time, it was hyped and everything like that, and Ubisoft did really well. Then it came out, and it sold really well and everything like that. And then what happened? People were like, well, what the fuck is this shit? Why is this repeating? Why is this doing? And they dug into the negative side of it instead of like, what's coming up with expansions or all this stuff and everything like that. And that's where it dried, the negativity. And what happened? Right. The productivity of the game went down. Same with Destiny. If they don't have new missions every single day, well, what the fuck am I playing this game for? Without realizing they're at level 50 and spent hours digging through the game and enjoying its many rewards. Oh, there's nothing left. Well, this is fucking pointless. That's actually how they say.
It's like when I was,
Yeah, they say that
talk to
200 hours
I would
later,
talk
you
to a
know?
developer. I'll talk to a developer about something, and they'll go, okay. A lot of these people who are griping about games just don't know what it takes to make a game.
No shit.
I'm like, the thing is, they don't know and they don't even care, which is even worse. Which is even worse. I'm like, you're supposed to, you know, when David Jaffe came out and made God of War, David Jaffe kind of became a household name with gamers because he was like, oh my God, this is the best shit ever. And you didn't even know you needed a game like God of War until it came out.
Exactly.
It's like everybody's like, it's a hack and slash. Well, no, it is, but not really. And then, you know, the terms, I don't know, man. It's just, the negativity is just, like you guys have been saying, the negativity really irritates me to like no end.
And you know what? There's one other factor to that. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, God. No, I wonder how Pac-Man would have done in today's times.
Oh shit!
People would I can't get past the second stage.
And
Fuck
see,
this,
man. I was talking to somebody about this yesterday. I said,
Man,
you know,
this
what?
isn't like Pong.
I said that is why the retro movement. I'm using air quotes because some of the people who are using or who are playing retro games either weren't around when they came out. Or they're just getting a feel for them now because it's cool. Or I said, but you don't know, they don't make games like this anymore. And when they try to make games that are old, they feel like that, like the Mega Man 9s and
that are difficult.
Mighty Number 9.
Mighty Number 9 is like, oh, it's too hard. I'm like, dude, try to beat Super Ghouls and Ghosts for Super Nintendo.
try to beat Mega Man 1.
Yeah, seriously, I've never met somebody who could beat the shit out of Dark Souls 2 but can't get past like Mega Man 6.
No, my son right now, my son has beaten Dark Souls 3, and he's going through it like nothing. I said, I handed him Battletoads. I said, I'll give you $100 if you get past the third level.
I could do that easy. Give me $100.
No.
Couldn't do it.
No,
I'll give you $100 right now. Couldn't do it.
Yeah, all right, go ahead, JBB.
It's because today, back in the day when we were all growing up and we had beef about a video game, something we didn't like, we'd either wait till lunch or wait till we got home from school and we had our debates in person, and then we would go back home and play our video games. Today, because people have people have social networks and now everybody has a soapbox, it seems like too many people since they have the capability of throwing their opinion out there, now they feel like if I don't trash something, I'm not going to get attention. So I need to be as negative as I can. I need to be a shock or a shock jock. And I have to have that mentality. And it's not only the gamers, Andre, it's big fucking editors from these websites who are part of this era.
That shit, you know?
See, that's the reason.
I've got to put everybody in that box, but I get what you're saying, yeah.
And hey, when you got Aaron Greenberg and Phil Spencer interacting with these Xbox psychotics.
Oh my God! Don't get me started on that.
Jesus,
shit,
that does nothing but tell people that, yo, if I act this way, I'm gonna get the attention from Phil Spencer and Aaron Greenberg.
So see, that's one of the things I think they need to get me, because like I remember like so much negativity. I remember like earlier this week, Justin McElroy from Polygon posted a review of Ghostbusters, the video game, and he called it like the worst game he's ever completed, without even realizing that the Ghostbusters NES game is far more shit.
You never played it,
so we're done there. But I mean, like some of these people who have like websites and YouTube blogs, they expect success at their door. They expect review copies and trips to go everywhere without even gaining the experience. Like even one guy I know was like talking to a friend of mine who works in PR and everything like that. Well, I'd like a copy of this game so I can review it on YouTube and everything like that. She's like, well, you don't exactly have the viewership yet. He's like, okay, well, you're a cunt.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I remember. Wait, did he say that to them in person?
Yeah, he said it over email.
Wow.
But still, that's the kind of disrespectful attitude. I deserve everything right away attitude that needs to get the fuck out of this industry. If anybody knows me, I've been doing video game writing since I was 2000. I've been playing video games since I was a goddamn kid. I know my experience inside and out. I have a writing degree that says I know my shit. I earned my keep here. So when somebody asks, well, why do you want a review copy? I want to cover it for this. I want to cover it for this.
Yep.
I nail a battle plan. I don't say like, well, I just want to review it for this and then wipe my butt on it afterward. Yeah.
No.
I don't know.
The thing is, I think
hold on. I gotta say this real quick. Okay, here's the key difference though. Okay, you've been doing this for so long, right? And even if they told you, hey, we can't get your copy, you wouldn't act like that. You wouldn't be like, oh fuck you.
Fuck you. No, I'm gonna go buy my copy. That's
exactly.
Go ahead, man.
Man, it reminds me of I was on one of these groups on Facebook. And they were bashing games or something. They were talking about I forgot what they were talking about. And it was like, I was like, dude, and they were just talking about, it was a new game that just came out, and everybody was just like, oh my god, this game is just terrible, blah 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 blah. But I went through it and beat it. I'm like, wait, so the game was shit, so you completed it anyway?
Nah.
Are you just a complete? Are you a completist? What is the deal?
No, they needed to see it from beginning to end to make sure it didn't.
It did. But then I said so. Basically, I said the problem with a lot of you guys is you don't understand why you play games in the first place, and you've all heard me say this 100 times.
Yes.
You didn't pick up an Atari 2600 because of the polygon count.
Oh my God, 4 bits.
Oh, yeah,
well,
exactly.
back then that was never an issue. That was never.
You played the games to have fun with the game.
You picked up that controller.
The graphics,
fun. That was the whole point. It was it was fun. That was it. I was like, dude, why don't you guys get out of your head, get out of your own way, play the game because it's fun. If it's not fun, it's not fun. Okay. And the guy was like, well, I only play games for graphics.
What the fuck?
I said, hold on a minute. So you've been playing games since 2006, right? No, I've been playing before that. Whoa, wait a minute. The graphics weren't as good as they are now. So what are you talking about?
How do you play graphics,
this dude only played games because of graphics. If the graphics were good, that's the only reason he played. I'm like, so what about story and gameplay? Fuck all that shit. I'm like, what? I was like, okay.
Yeah. Well,
so
sounds like somebody trolling.
But people were co-signing this dude, and I was like, are you... Okay, I got to get out of here.
So he probably jizzed all over the Order 1886, then, didn't he?
Right.
I like the Order.
It was good. It was good. It was good, but it was more about the presentation than the depth.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But that guy probably like, oh my god, it's beautiful.
And it's like the people who bash Nintendo. It's like people who bash Nintendo all the time.
Shit.
Yeah.
But the games are fucking fun as shit. What are you talking?
Exactly. I think that's a thing that's been forgotten nowadays, where games can. Do you find enjoyment in the game? You can find enjoyment in any game, even games that are considered bad games. I mean, there are some pretty shitty games that we played back in the '80s.
Yep.
Like games that are even kind of memorable. People are like, oh my god, I remember that game. But some of those games are pretty fucking crappy.
Yeah.
You can have
speaking of which,
tic-tac-toe or something simple.
you got. I mean, remember when we didn't have video games and we played board games? Cards Against Humanity doesn't have great graphics.
What do you mean? When? I still play D&D.
I played Cards Against Humanity. So, by the way, we have another guy who stopped in.
Brett. Hello.
Whoa.
Now, Brett, we might get a little serious now, but we had told people that you're not going to be on Throwdown for a little bit, as you told me, because of what's going on with Rachel and all that. So I'm very happy to see you here tonight.
Yeah.
Howdy, folks. Yeah, it's
what's up?
It's been tough lately. Rachel's chemo hasn't been working. We're now looking for immunotherapy trials all across the country. So I'm probably going to be less of a regular around here, just because. Man, we just spent 2 weeks in the hospital. We might be going around the country. Who the fuck knows what's going on? So, and I told Tony I didn't want to leave him hanging. So, I'll pop in whenever I can. But as far as the default setting goes, I can't be here for a while. But whenever I get time,
I feel you, brother. My son's going through the same thing. He's going through lymphoma right now. So yeah, I feel you on that.
Yeah. You guys take care of you. You gotta take care of you, man.
Yeah,
You know?
but obviously the door's always open. So Brett was like, "Hey, do you have room?" I'm like, "What are you talking about, dude? You're like a member of the show. Get in here."
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to make sure we didn't have like a huge round table of people. I was like, yeah, fuck it. It's like an hour and a half late. Whatever.
Nah,
Got
we're
home,
good.
got settled.
So
Let's jump in.
right
Let's argue with some people.
Yeah, so right now we're just kind of like pointing out some of the problems that are going on in the industry and how we could fix them. Right now we're just talking about people who just bitch about games. Like, it's like, okay, how do you play graphics? I don't understand that.
Dude,
was this guy Ben Kuchera, by the way?
You know what? If it was, I would have understood it.
Somebody's blaming. Wait, put this in context for me. Somebody's blaming graphics for what?
No,
we were talking
They
about
prefer graphics over gameplay and story, which makes
But
sense.
I mean, that's personal preference. If that's what they want.
How do you,
and that's what I'm like.
The physical act. How do you play graphics?
That's the thing. If it's pretty, what was it? What were we talking? We were talking about Rise. I said, man, I think I'm gonna pick up Rise. He said, man, Rise is cool. It's real good graphics, man, but the gameplay and everything else sucks. I said, dude, you just said you. I said, never mind. I just had
it was fun.
I didn't even want to get into it, man. I was just like, dude. But then I've noticed it's not just gaming though. It's like anime, comic books, manga. I'm just like, dude, what the? Has geek culture just turned into a troll fest? What the hell's going on here?
I was gonna say that our society it's reflecting how our current situation in society is right now. It's a very egotistical environment right now. So everybody wants to be heard, so they're gonna do whatever the hell it takes.
But this is what I got on. I got onto some guys about this. I'm like, okay, we are considered the nerds and the gamers of the world. Okay, we're the nerds and geeks of the world. Okay, we're already used to being shut out of stuff or not being able to, But now that it's like now you're getting on other people the same way that regular people used to get on us. I'm like.
Oh yeah,
how do you even balance that? How do you justify that? How do you
because it's art now, man. Like, okay, I think what we're seeing is like, okay, if you look at art movements or literary movements or things like that, they kind of become derivative of themselves until they reach kind of this critical mass of self-mockery, at which point somebody says, okay, we've deviated so far from the original experience, I'm going to come back and do something real. And by doing that, they kind of subvert the norm and create this new movement. I think what we're seeing is video games finally coming to that end. Like, and an interesting thing I want to point out, and I'm not even going to tie this to VR, but I'm going to tie this to VR. One thing that VR has a lot of really interesting things that it points out because it uses the brain in a way that we're not used to with gaming. And one of the things that people found was, even with these screen door effects, that a lot of graphics felt more real, even though they weren't. And they found this weird this weird kind of effect where if things are simplified but they move naturally and they react naturally, the brain kind of fills in a lot of the gaps and it tends to feel more real. That's why you can put somebody in a very simplistic polygon environment up on a high walk and they feel like they're about to fall. I think what we've had happen in terms of graphics is we've reached that point of critical mass of mockery. We've built games to be derivative. We've put particle effects. We've made everything shinier. I mean, for Jesus fuck, a video game doesn't even look like reality looks anymore. It looks like hyper reality.
Right.
So we're not even trying to represent reality right now anymore, and everybody's just trying to do a little more of the thing that was done before, and it's very quickly not making sense. And so I think what's going to need to happen is, whether or not we start representing, like, even in little things like in DayZ, you use the Alt key to actually move your head on a swivel independent from your mouse cursor. Like, that was revolutionary and to a certain extent kind of groundbreaking that I would love to see it implemented into other games. But
Trespasser did it.
See, I mean, hopefully that'll bleed out to be more the norm.
Trespasser was the Jurassic Park game made in the late '90s or something.
Oh Jesus! Okay. Yeah. But I think what we're seeing is, like I said, it's derivative. It is the nature of derivative, or the definition of derivative, that art imitates art that imitates art that is successful until the point where the rules no longer make sense, and you're just doing the thing that the person in front of you did, but a little bit more.
But I mean, isn't that? I mean, if you think about it, that's kind of we're going in the world of the film industry, where it's essentially you know, yes, it imitates itself, but it also imitates itself because of what is popular out there. It's like, why are so many superhero movies getting made nowadays? Because somebody established already who was out there established that superhero movies do really well. All right, so let's throw out Hellboy, let's throw out friggin', you know, all these other films.
You're thinking of the wrong facet. I'm thinking more in the way that we interact with a game. Like, for instance, Bethesda's games are the only games where you can pretty much interact with any object in the actual game world. And that's because for 20 fucking years, we've all just accepted the fact that these were this weird plain backdrops that pretty much did nothing. Like, you can't pick up a bottle and throw it at an enemy soldier as he runs through the door. Like, any one of us that would be put in a real combat environment would probably be hurling real-world shit like nobody's business. Even if you have a gun,
exactly.
we fucking throw glass on the floor and shit like that. But we've all accepted these environments that we live in and we play in as these just kind of painted backdrops that don't really tell a story. And there's no good reason for that other than we used to not have the processing power to make games fully interactive. But we're getting to the point now where we can. Well, why don't we? Well, it's still a little wonky. People still need to put a little bit more time into it. It might scale back the overall scale of the game. But even a game, if you put me in a game the size of like a shopping mall and like really take a Dead Rising approach, like you could do anything with anything. You could build your own traps, you can set things, you can barricade off walls, you can fight with other players or anything like that. If you let me truly interact with a game environment, that would be a revolutionary experience. But for some reason, nobody's really aiming towards expanding the way that you interact with the environment. They're just expanding on the way that the environment looks, thinking that equals a realistic experience.
I mean, that's
what sells.
There are some exceptions to the rule. There are some people that actually do innovative stuff with the environments. It's just a matter of how they implement it into the game experience. Like, for instance, I could talk about how fucking badass Doom is, the new Doom, which is an amazing game and everything like that. And the way you interact with everything, you punch a fucking skull to open the door. That's how it works. You know, if we saw that on that sort of level work with virtual reality and really make the experience more visceral, I could see more reason to invest in it. But it seems like everything to me, save for like a couple of experiences, just seems like on rails stuff. You know, like you're limited by the space in your room and everything like that. Now, if they could find a way to make games like more interactive and innovative and use the technology in the right ways. Like, I saw a Dirt Rally demo on Oculus Rift, and it's freaking ridiculous because it actually looks like you're in the car. And God help you if you roll off a cliff. It's like, holy shit! No! You do something.
Yeah.
So
that takes time and experimentation.
Some experiments are getting out there. It's just a matter of getting the developers on board to get the most out of the system instead of just pumping out, sequel after sequel after sequel, or coming up with ideas that not everybody is on board with or everything like that. It's just about finding the happy medium, but not everybody can get there yet because developers don't have that much money, and AAA people would rather depend on franchises they know will sell. They don't really gamble too much on new ideas because, look at what, Homefront or Revolution did for Deep Silver. Nothing. So,
and I'm absolutely glad you brought that up because you definitely. I'm not saying that game companies aren't doing this, and just on the topic of how are we going to breathe new life into the industry, like it's through innovative ways in which you interact with the game itself. I mean, take No Man's Sky that's coming out. Like that's a new way to interact with a game, and these I think are the things that are going to crystallize into memorable experiences that are going to drive the industry forward. It's those kinds of things that people will look back on. Fucking 12-year-olds now are going to play No Man's Sky, and they're going to sit back and be like, "Remember No Man's Sky, man? Like I just came home from school and explored the universe for hours on end." They're going to be the developers of tomorrow who are going to say, I would love to do that, but I'd love to have my own space station, and I'd love to have my friends get on my space station. I'd like to build my own fucking spaceships. You know what? Right. I'm going to learn programming and make this game. Like that's how we advance. So I think these novel experiences are the future, even though they seem kind of even mundane at times now. Like we're slowly redefining the way that we interact with a digital space, and
it takes time.
It's a matter of developer. Because there are experiences where people are really getting what they get with their money. Like Uncharted 4 is amazing.
Yes.
Right.
It created this kind of experience that's going to be unmatched. Like nobody will be able to probably hit that high plateau that Naughty Dog did until they do Last of Us 2, obviously.
Oh,
And
they crystallized the adventure action movie experience.
They did.
Mhm.
They did.
Yeah.
Even like they even overcame Rise of the Tomb Raider, which was phenomenal in its own right, in my game of the year last year. I mean that's unbelievable. You know that developers are still trying in certain avenues like that. Some others take ideas like Homefront: The Revolution, and like I'm really mentioning that game because it is such a letdown. Like so much more could have been done with the theme and the story and the enemies, and it just feels so cookie cutter to me, and I was so disappointed.
I fell into that trap with the first Homefront. I did not participate in the second one.
There you go, lucky dodge.
Good man. But I want to quickly go back to something we were talking about before, right? Because it always seems like, hey, what's wrong with the industry? It always seems to go back to it's the internet. It's causing all this shit because
it's the hatred.
It is, man. But again, it goes back to anonymity. If people can't see your face, you wouldn't say this shit in front of everyone.
Oh, I don't know about that. Have you guys seriously never gotten into nerd fights?
You know, if JVB showed up in a hall and said Uncharted 4 sucks, he wouldn't get out of the hall alive.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Look at that bald guy telling me I'm gonna.
I think if
he's in a room full of Xbots, he'd be okay, you know.
I know, right?
I think that is a part of it where it's like now everyone can say whatever. We've said this before. Anybody can say whatever they want. They have their own soapboxes, and not to mention that they're nobody knows who they are. It's blah 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 517 who said this.
Yeah. Sausage Fest 69. Well,
Exactly.
I just gotta take his opinion.
Who are these people? You know, the thing
Who
is
are these people?
The thing is that I always say that that internet communication is always like a direct conduit to the things that you think in your head.
And most people think some fucked up shit.
And nobody, and most people think, a lot of people think of fucked up shit, and there is no, barrier or filter or barrier of the shit that comes out of their brain and makes its way onto the internet.
Yeah.
They gotta use that 5-second rule. Let it sit for 5 seconds and then read it again and be like,
exactly. Maybe I shouldn't say this.
Yep.
You know?
But it goes with the the publishers and when you're dealing with PR, you got PR is out there listening to these people and they're like, oh my god, these guys must represent the majority of our freaking fan base. We gotta listen.
The sad part is the nuts are the loudest ones.
Exactly.
We've seen it many times where it's like, you have all these people battling it out on the on the boards, and then you see that the game winds up doing really well. So who are these other people who are enjoying the game? It's the silent minority.
They're too busy playing.
Majority. They're too busy.
No, they're too busy playing to post anything and be like, I'm
exactly.
That's what I'm saying.
It's just like when they were doing the PS4 and Xbox One beef, and there's always the meme where everybody's playing the Wii U, they're just playing their games, and they're not bitching about anything else. They're just playing. They're playing while everybody else is doing shit at each other and talking shit about each other, and we're just like, hey, okay, oh, that's what you saying? Oh, that's cool.
They're all too busy playing Wii Sports.
My bowling score is all fuckers.
Yo, Tony, I don't know if you saw this. When was it? Saturday night, where I had finished Inside on the Xbox One, and from start to finish, I was so impressed with Inside, and great game, no dialogue, but it was freaking phenomenal. I put on my Twitter that I complimented it. I said I finally finished it. Only took 4 hours, but hey, that's
that sounds good.
Some of the best games are that length. So I complimented it, right? And now on Twitter, you can see your profile on the left side, and you can see how many followers you have. So after I posted that, I noticed I lost 2 followers, like right off the bat. And I put like, yo, I can't compliment a game nowadays without people getting offended and unfollowing me. Like,
it might have been the sex. It might have been the sex bots that says, "Oh, he likes it inside."
But, hold on, Jose, real quick. I gotta bring this up. We gotta bring in our friend here, Tim Dog from Twitter, right? Somebody called this dude out because you know what he does. He's on Twitter all day. Fucking Microsoft dick, right?
Yep.
So somebody asked him like, "Hey, how many games do you play?" And he goes, "I only get to play a game an hour a day because I'm so busy." I'm like, hold on, so you spend hours on Twitter, beefing and shit. You spend and then somebody
And he owns 5 Xbox Ones.
Yeah, and then he's on like these podcasts. Like,
Okay.
They have like these like BGST, all those podcasts.
Yeah, therapy sessions.
So he's on the Xbox 30. He's on podcasts 6 hours a week, right?
Yep.
But he only play games 1 hour like a day. It's
Ain't
like,
got no time to bang his wife.
Yeah.
What the hell kind of? I don't. Well, okay.
Yeah, you know how many times I
He
told
really
that
enjoys
dude,
being social.
you know how many times I told Mr. Tim Elogi or whatever the fuck his name. I always put his full name because I know it, and I always invite him to meet me. I'm like, yo, I live a few minutes from you, motherfucker. Come meet me. If you really feel this strongly about me, I'll meet your ass.
And you will never hear from that dude again.
Oh no, he blocked me, and then
Well, yeah, of course.
No, you meet
That's-
him in real life. He'll be like, man, I'm a real big fan of your work.
nah, no, no joke. A few weeks ago, we went to Long Island to Walmart, and I don't go to Walmart because I have beliefs of that for whatever reason.
You admire your humanity too much to walk into a Walmart.
So we go to a friend's house, so we were like, yo, let's pick up some soda for them, blah blah. So I'm looking around, I'm looking for that motherfucker because I know how he's
at the Walmart.
He's one of the few that actually put his face out there. In that group, so I know how he looks like, and I'm like, yo, if I see this motherfucker, I'm gonna introduce myself, and I'm gonna record it on my phone, and be like, come on, Tim, let's have a talk. Because I would talk to him. Tony knows me. I'm a peaceful individual.
Man. That's the other thing. It's like, when you get it's different when you're kind of separated. You have the internet in a way, and also, just meeting a person face to face. Your conversations take a different sort of.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, totally.
I told Tim because he was at E3, right? I'm like, yo, Tim, if you see me, you're gonna try to fuck me up, and he was like, no, man, I don't do console shit in real life. I'm like, wait, so you faking it then? What the fuck?
I'll tell you,
there was from sitting at a Best Buy.
There was an awkward situation with me, like about maybe it was like a year or something after Soldier X said that bullshit about the Aurora shooting and that maybe leaked post-game report. He's like, I want to meet up at PAX East, man. I'm like, you realize what the fuck you said to me, right? You really want to meet? Okay, whatever, dude. And I didn't even deal with him. I was just like, fuck this. I'm sorry. You pissed me off of what you said, dude. I kind of want to punch you with everything I have right now. But
the best thing is just I mean, you guys eventually...
That's the thing. And people like that just live for drama and shit. I mean, I think he was giving like the married gamers a bunch of shit too for the longest time, like Chris and Kelly and all them before they broke up, and it was just kind of ridiculous. Like how some people just thrive on doing this shit online, and then they try to be different in person, but you still see their true colors in some extent.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it's always the worst fucking thing. It's like, with me, I kid around online and everything like that, but everybody knows me. Who see me in person, JBB too, I guess. They know I'm always out of my way to take care of people. I will go to their panels or whatever. I'll hang out. We'll talk podcasts, whatever. And you need to represent yourself better. And there are some people who just live to be trolls, and it's the worst thing in the fucking world. I can't imagine what's going through their heads. Like, I'm great. That Trumpism thing going in their head is what it is.
I just talked to him. I go, so is your life really that miserable?
Seriously,
that you have to go after everything you see? Do you not have anything better to do with your time?
It's all about outrage.
I'm like,
outrage culture.
They're trying to make themselves feel better.
I understand you being mad. I understand you being upset about something. I get it, but come on.
Yeah.
Opinions are just like assholes. Everybody's got one.
Everybody
Come on,
has
dude.
one.
Seriously.
I tell my son, since he could understand what I'm saying, for many years, I've always told my son, I remind him all the fucking time because sometimes we forget. I tell him to enjoy things for what they are, to appreciate something, that when you see it and experience it, you can experience it for what it is, for what it's trying to be, and respect it. It might not be the best thing, but you can respect that somebody's sitting hours upon hours during the holidays, working their ass off, and only to get laid off after the game is done. Right? You need to respect the people because people are making these video games, and people just don't understand that. And same thing with and Tony, you're gonna fucking crack up. Same thing with Batman versus Superman.
Oh fuck.
When we left the theater, my son looked at me and goes, he's 14. He goes, "What movie did these people watch that they hated so much, Dad? I loved it."
And we were talking about this earlier. Like, somebody was asking me about Ghostbusters, and everybody was like, "Well, fuck, they're replacing the '84 Ghostbusters, and fuck this shit. These girls can't get it done and everything like that." I saw the movie, and the movie wasn't bad. It was better than Ghostbusters 2. I'll give it that. But no, it's not supposed to top the original. They went off in their own direction with it. I mean, did it copy some stuff? Did it pay tribute some stuff? Yeah, but that was the point. I mean. Yep. There are so many people who are quick to hate on something just because they have the option to.
I have to disagree with you on that instance.
Oh?
Yeah, I mean, it's honestly, if the Ghostbuster movie had just released and done its thing, you would have had a small group of people kind of rumbling, but then the problem is they went on an attack campaign and started attacking all of the fans of the original. They instead of a surgical approach, they just shotgun blasted anger and hypocrisy all over like 90% of their.
You don't get people into movie theaters by shitting on them like that.
I didn't say anything about the studio making the right moves with the movie. I just said the movie itself wasn't bad. I mean, Sony fucked everything up with Pixels by putting Adam Sandler in it. They're not my favorite studio right now.
Well, he's an actor that plays games, right? Yeah, okay. Yeah.
I think in general the problem with Ghostbusters in general, marketing in general, is that yes, it should have, they should have just let people say what they need to say, and then just not reflect.
Just done your thing.
Yeah, just did their thing.
Take it.
It's like I said, make your own fucking movie. You don't like it, make your own movie. Just shut the fuck up. That's all. I hate that shit.
But I also think it's also a bait and switch rope-a-dope. Do we really need to have another Ghostbusters movie?
No.
Isn't it just as good to just release the original Ghostbusters movie?
Yeah. I mean,
you don't need to pay. I guess you need to pay some residuals on some actors. You don't need to pay for special effects. You do a really good job of promoting that shit, throwing it out in the movies. Remember how fucking Disney used to do that every 5 years?
Yeah.
Like, hey, a Disney classic back in the theaters. Whatever happened to that shit?
Sometimes you see Little Shop of Horrors in theaters.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We can't watch Little Shop of Horrors? No, we gotta watch Little Shop of Horrors.
I mean, I haven't seen Ghostbusters yet, and I actually think I would enjoy it because I love all the actors in the movie. I love all of those girls.
I would much rather see a new product from these people rather than them just, oh, hey, look, because you're familiar, because Ghostbusters is within the zeitgeist. You're all familiar with that. We're going to use that to as a vehicle to put our movie out there, which is a remake, kind of.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, if they would have just put the movie out and not just ignored all the negative shit and just kept on rolling with it.
Well, I mean, that's what they used to do in the old days.
That's what
you put out
but things change. It's Hollywood.
They
changed to the point where they process nearly every. I mean, we're getting a fucking 5th Transformers movie. We didn't even need a third.
I don't think
4 seconds.
That goes with the whole theory.
It's money for them, though. They don't care. It's just money.
Because people are going to go.
It's Hollywood.
It's the issue with Hollywood. They are not willing to make any sort of big risks.
Like video games.
What is it?
The whole entertainment industry is doing that now.
What are all the films that we see out there? They're either a sequel, a remake, or a transportation of an existing product. Yeah. What is Iron Man? Iron Man existed as a comic book for what?
Decades.
For decades. Now it's a movie. What is Spider-Man? All these different things. It's just Well, the thing is that Robert Downey Jr. when he started that he was fucking media poison because all kinds of bullshit. That got his career started again. But I'm saying is a lot of what we're seeing nowadays. It's just the transportation of something that everybody knows, whether it be a sequel, a remake, or transportation of a product from one media to another.
See, but what I've just come to accept is that there are some people that still give a shit about the process, and then there are people that don't. And it's easy to tell the good movies from the bad movies. I mean, like, is anybody going to go see fucking Ice Age 5 tomorrow? No. Is everybody going to go pick up Civil War? Of course. No. I know you like the sloth, I know, but you know.
I think for Ice Age, it's unfortunate, but with that company, with I can't remember, Blue Sky. The only thing that really makes them any money are Ice Age.
But here's the thing.
Did anybody really? I mean, Robots kind of tanked. The Lorax kind of. Well,
but there are studios that can innovate. I did like
the movie.
Illumination could have made another fucking Minions movie, and instead they made The Secret Life of Pets. There are some exceptions to the rule.
Mm-hmm. Right. But the case with Ghostbusters is that whole mentality again, where if you act a certain way, you're going to get the attention of the big wigs. Look at Xbox with Aaron Greenberg and Phil Spencer interacting with these maniacs. This is what happens. You have a group of people that are getting into these positions that don't know how to handle adversity, so they freak out. They're like, "Oh my God, nobody likes our movie." Whereas we experienced back in the day, it was like, "All right, here's the movie, here's the promotion, here's the voice guy doing the, in a city, all over." And that's that. We watch it, and then we decide whether we like it or not.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
and it's not meant for everybody. And you have to understand, this isn't meant for everybody. If you like the original Ghostbusters the way it is, then do what Angry Video Game Nerd did. Don't see it.
Don't see it.
Enjoy the 84 version. There are some people who want to see these female kind of roles and everything. Like these little girls who'd be like, I think they'd make great Ghostbusters. I'm going to go see it. Good for you. Go.
Hold on. Like, you're assuming that this has a lot to do with there being female Ghostbusters. Like, the original script that was written was supposed to have a mixed gender cast, and it wasn't a ham-fisted approach of like, 30 years after Ghostbusters, but also Ghostbusters didn't actually happen 30 years ago, so I don't know why the fuck you even told me that. Like, this thing is full of plot holes, dick joke equivalents, shoddy animation, and here's the problem. Like, you can make a bad Ghostbusters movie all you want. You can make a bad Ghostbusters spin-off all you want. That is no skin off my nose. My problem becomes, now, this is the movie that got made instead of the other Ghostbuster movie, and now we are never going to see that third Ghostbuster movie unless Hollywood just decides to do, Hulk this whole thing and be like, that wasn't the Ghostbuster movie, this is the Ghostbuster movie.
Look, this is what I've always said. Ghostbusters, the whole I know this may sound extreme, the whole franchise, as soon as Harold Ramis dies, that's it. It's over. We're done.
Yeah,
We're done.
I disagree, and I'm one of the biggest Ghostbuster fans, I know. I loved the original movies. I still have a fucking Ghostbusters wallet on, right now. But
nice.
I want to see at least his vision. Like, what is wrong with a mixed gender Ghostbusters? What is wrong with a second generation of Ghostbusters? For fuck's sake, it's been 25 years since we've had Ghostbusters. It has been a literal generation. So when you're remaking the movie, if you want to reinvent it, why don't you do 30 years fucking later? And the thing people don't understand is, and here's the thing that pisses me off, everybody says, well, the problem is that you already established ghosts in the universe, so now you can't just rewind it. Yeah. That is fucking bullshit.
There's also another thing.
Bullshit.
There's also another thing. Even if you do go with a continuity angle, that doesn't mean it's going to be everybody's speed. Case in point, last year with Jurassic World. When Jurassic World came out, I was like, oh, what are you doing? We didn't need this. Jurassic Park and the Lost World, they already hammered the point home and everything like that. But guess what? It actually turned out to be...
that movie. I like the original
Exactly.
But here's my problem. When they oh, god damn it, I think I lost my train of thought.
No.
He lost his wallet.
But I do need to jump on this. I will admit, I did not like the Lost World. The last Jurassic Park movie. The Jurassic World, right? Okay, go ahead, Brett, before you forget.
Okay,
go ahead,
the thing that bothers me is the whole reason that they rebooted this whole thing instead of doing a continuity thing was the idea that they couldn't rewind and say there were ghosts in New York, everybody's seen ghosts, you can't just go back to there being no ghosts. And that bothers me because the very fucking premise of the movie is that an old-ass fucking architect built 5 mandalas around a center point that channeled supernatural activity and manifested ghosts. When the Ghostbusters sent Zool back to his fucking dimension, ghosts should fucking stop. End of story. The mandalas were destroyed, and it would take take another 25, 30 years for these sub Plan Bs to come to fruition. The whole premise of the new movie was 25 years later, the Cult of Zool has finally manifested enough energy to reintroduce ghosts to New York, and ghosts are seen for the first time in 30 fucking years. So don't fucking come to me and tell me that there's a continuity problem, so you need to throw the whole fucking thing out the window, because if that's the case, you didn't watch the goddamn movie as well as I did, and I have issue with that.
I would have also said if we didn't want to do Ghostbusters don't need to be in New York, to be honest. They could have put that in a different city. I always say they could have put it in Salem, the center of all things spiritual and ghostly and all kinds of bullshit. You could have had a whole new crew over there. Doesn't even need to do any of that. But again, we're treading the old ground, because what are the things that people think of when you think of Ghostbusters? You think of the car, you think of the firehouse, you think of the poltergeist.
Right.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Hold on, Brett. Here's the thing I want to say, because you could have. This is a situation. You could have had your cake and eaten it too, right? Mm-hmm. Here's how you could have done it. You had the old Ghostbusters still around, right? They passed the torch to the new generation. You could still have the fucking movie in New York. You could reference the old movies, and then at the end of this movie, you could set it up so you got future sequels, just like Jurassic World. Yeah. I didn't like that movie, but it set up it honored the past movies and set up new shit. That's how this movie should have been.
Here, let me just put it like this, okay? For those who want Ghostbusters 3, those who want the continuity that they are looking for,
play the game.
2009 video game. We're done.
There you go.
And then you got a new twist for somebody who wants a little something different. There's something for everybody, and I know it pisses off a lot of people with the movie coming out and everything like that, and here, but I mean, it's not exactly built. I mean, like you said, Sony built it on a program of, be like, well, fuck the fans, we're gonna release it anyway.
Well, and not just that, but they decided that for some reason they decided to put Paul Feig in charge of it. And for those who don't fucking know, he's like the fucking white Tyler Perry. Like, he makes a certain kind of movie. All right.
Man. Wow.
He went there.
Sorry.
I didn't see Paul Feig dressed like Medea now. That'd be bad.
He makes a certain kind of movie.
Nail meets hammer. Holy shit.
I'm tweeting Paul Feig now. This is what he said.
He said that shit. Anyway, let's move on, guys.
Let's get back to video games.
We should move on, but yeah, I totally appreciate your points there, Brett. But I mean, I different strokes for different folks. That's how it should be. And
I agree. And at the risk of sounding like one of the angry, fucking neckbeardy things, I want to say this. I have no problem with them doing this movie. I have a problem that this is done instead of the Ghostbusters movie that we were supposed to see, instead of that 2009 video game, which was fucking amazing.
Yes.
And you can't help but feel that somebody in an executive boardroom, when they went, going to put Paul Feig in charge of this movie, you knew what he was going to do. You knew exactly what he was going to do. That's why you had him do it. You're like, let's get the guy from Bridesmaids. Or what's that movie that was exactly like The Hangover, but then they put 4 women in it and acted like they reinvented the fucking wheel? Oh, Bridesmaids, right. Can we give Ghostbusters that treatment? It was a ham-fisted attempt at money grabbing using a beloved franchise. And I just want to say,
welcome to 90% of today's movies.
Oh yeah, I know.
Exactly.
That's why. That being said, the people who I hear talking about this, like, well, why don't you have a problem with the Ninja Turtles movie? I do have a problem with the Ninja Turtles movie.
It's a piece of trash too, man. Fuck that movie. I saw that shit, and I can't unsee it. That's the problem.
Still better than the first movie. I'll give it that.
Yeah.
No. Okay, I didn't see the sequel. I only saw the new remake. I'm like, I'll just go back to the one from 1990. That's the real Ninja Turtles movie. Fuck this shit.
The big problem I had with Ninja Turtles is Brad Garrett voiced Krang. I'm like, from Everybody Loves Raymond, Brad Garrett?
Yeah.
But we should move on, or we're going to be here all night.
Yeah, we really could just be here all night.
I think that
I am Krang. No, that doesn't work.
I'm Krang, Shredder. It was my brain.
Yeah, where's that voice?
Going back to our original topic, I think the key to changing the industry is not actually the actual industry innovating. It's actually the independent guys going out there and innovating, and then showing the big guys what things are possible.
Yeah, that's a good. Look
at a game like Look at Journey, right? Journey had that one aspect that was really interesting, which was non-communicative multiplayer, where essentially you see other people in your world, you can choose to hang out with them, or you could not, and a lot of games have taken that.
Right.
So it's like, You're not gonna. I mean, you're gonna see obviously in the AAA realm, you're gonna see advancements in actual how the games look, maybe some things in some AI, but really it's going to be the independent guys that are going out there and be like, hey, wait a minute, how come you can't do that? And I think that's the way to.
I've always said the indies are the way of the future for gaming because
I mean because
they have all the innovation and they have all the innovation, they have nothing to lose. It's like
I mean, like Inside right there, boom, you do something like that. Cuphead, you do something like that, and these publishers, I know these publishers are taking more of a chance. I mean, even No Man's Sky in a way is an indie game. It's got
it is an indie game,
but I mean it's made by Hello Games, a team of what, 20 guys, 20 people. It's ridiculous, and they made a game with a bigger fucking universe than any Battlefield game will have. So Jesus,
Yeah, but anyway, so let's move on here. So we talked about this before. I think we talked about this before the show, but talking about it now. Okay, something interesting happened last weekend. Okay, I actually watched ESPN for the first time in my life. Never really watched it.
Chris Berman, boom.
Now, why was I watching ESPN? Because they had Evo on ESPN. And I'm like, oh, this is interesting. Like, in a major sports channel having motherfucking Street Fighter. Crazy.
This was not surprising because they did actually announce at E3 that they would be doing Evo on ESPN.
But it is surprising because you didn't see it last year. Okay, because I remember. Okay, you guys know this too. Remember old school Evo? It used to be a bunch of dudes in a room, and that's it. That was Evo.
Yeah.
Now they're in a.
Now they had fucking Mandalay Bay.
Yeah.
All the fights. But let me tell you something. ESPN did it right. They let the Evo producers handle it and everything like that. They got Seth Killian, they got Mike Ross, and they totally motherfucking.
That was good.
Killed it.
It killed it. Remember the days when we finally saw like a big wrestling event on TV, and it was like, holy shit, wrestling is becoming mainstream, or we used to watch freaking Morgan Webb and Adam Sessler on TV talking about video games. It was like, holy shit. Even before them, Tommy
Tallarico.
Victor Lucas,
like it was unbelievable. Like, oh my god! Even though it's on cable, it's still video. People talking about video games on TV is unbelievable. And now
I remember
the
this
evolution.
I remember this even older show that they used to have in the 90s, in the mid-90s, where it was just like a guy would tell you about codes, and then he'd go to these different electronic.
Oh, you talking about the Game Pro guy, whatever his name?
The Game Pro,
Game
Pro. Pro TV.
Let's take it back to the old school. In the 80s, a game show called Starcade.
Hell yeah.
That was my afternoon jam Wednesdays on TBS. So I was like, yes, I'm home. I'm looking for this game at the arcade next time I'm there. Yes, but it just seems like video games still have this way to entertain on TV. I mean, obviously G4 pulled the fucking plug and replaced it with whatever the Esquire crap is, but bullshit. I mean, there was a channel there for us where gaming was everything, and it was great. Not every program was about it, but when we could watch something like X-Play or something like that, or Attack of the Show, where they'll talk about something in a game segment, even if it had Olivia Munn.
But I mean, the thing is,
eating hot dogs.
G4 Tech TV did have video game competitions.
I remember when they first started. I remember going to E3 and getting that DVD that they were handing out to everybody.
Yeah.
Before the network even started.
I got one of those.
Dude, this is fucking awesome. We were like, holy shit, this is fucking great, dude. I could have watched Pulse all day. Yeah. They could have just had a 24-hour news channel with just Pulse. That'd have been me. I'd have been there all day.
You have to understand, the esports movement has become ridiculous. I mean, like, what was it last year? ESPN did that whole Heroes of the Dorm thing.
Right.
TBS has like a 3-hour block on Friday nights for E-League and Counter-Strike. I mean, out of all games, Counter-Strike, which is Global Offensive, which is a few years old, but still popular as shit. People are going nuts on Friday nights watching that stuff. And then, obviously ESPN now trying to get more on that esports train, no matter what was that dickhead Colin Cowherd, who said fucking esports or nothing. Yeah, fuck you, Colin. It's just crazy, like how competitive gaming is just really now catching on when we've had it for so many years, trying to be like each other's high scores and all that shit, and watching Pulse and all that stuff. But it's amazing to see that ESPN pretty much got out of its own way and let Evo do its own thing. Like I said, it was the kind of program that I was thrilled to watch on TV. Even without the whole Twitch chat thing going, like, oh, yeah, never mind.
What I found kind of cool, what I found kind of interesting was I said this too. I remember watching the whole thing because this isn't new. This shit been going on in Korea for a while. It's
oh yeah.
So I remember saying this, and I'm calling myself. I'm like, that shit, you'll never see that shit in America. I was wrong. I was proven wrong. You know, I just took a different game, but look at that now. You know?
Well, it's kind of like my boy Mike, Michael Martin from Yahoo. He's Yahoo Esports. He's kind of pushing that envelope with a lot of the events and stuff. So I had to shout him out because that's my boy. So. Yeah. But yeah, he's one of those guys that's like they're getting in the industry and they're like, okay, look, if you don't start doing this stuff, you can make some of that Twitch money. You can get some money off this. You can make people actually watch this. You can get advertisers. You can get people to come in here and watch this stuff if you would just air it, and people are starting to listen to it. Maybe ESPN will start, Maybe those numbers will show up and they'll go,
I think also with ESPN, they've always been kind of like, as much as they were into sports. I mean, didn't they first start putting the extreme games on? Wasn't it ESPN?
Yeah.
I mean, they're able. They are. They do see these sorts of things out there. I mean, they may not. A lot of times, they may not understand exactly how they work, but I definitely think that they have their eye on these sorts of things and like, okay, maybe this is something that we need to start looking into. And the thing is that even the X Games, it was done quite respectfully to the actual sports that were shown on it.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I'm gonna segue with this conversation, right? Because you saw this. Obviously it's really cool. We're seeing gaming, big time gaming on ESPN. But at the same time, you have these other guys shitting on it, right? Now, okay. Now before I let you guys jump into this. This one quote somebody said, which is so perfect. It said, "Why isn't it funny that like sports media, right? They're shitting all of this, but actual athletes, right? They love this shit. Like, oh, esports, this is great because athletes understand the dedication. Like they get it. It's these sports writers and shit that don't.
Well, it's also the athletes are the fucking age of the people.
Yeah, they're gamers.
Esports.
Exactly. Right. Great point because the sports media, what are they? A bunch of fucking fogies,
Yeah, they're all a bunch of old guys, a bunch of old analysts and stuff like that. No, they're not going to understand what an esport is.
Yeah, so I mean, what's some of the funniest shit you saw? Johnny, because people were going fucking crazy. Jose, what kind of wild shit did you see on Twitter that night?
Yeah, that's all I saw was Twitter. Unfortunately, I couldn't watch the event, but I for the most part, I saw a lot of positive responses. A lot of positive feedback.
Which is good. Yeah. What about the haters, man?
But you had your haters, like, and it was on both sides. It was like, oh, Street Fighter V ain't dead after all, and then you had like Killer Instinct, blah blah blah. But,
Where's Killer Instinct? Where's Killer Instinct?
It was thankfully it was more positive, and I was able to enjoy actually looking at my feed and people talking about what's his name, Long Island Joe or whatever.
Yeah,
yes, the hero of our times.
So, yes,
I do want to see the actual video soon, but.
Dude, Long Island Joe's father looks like a Rip Geraldo Rivera, man.
I know, dude, he looked like Machete. Danny Trejo.
Somebody put him
Danny Trejo.
Wow.
But no, I mean, like I said, ESPN didn't fuck it up. They could have easily gotten like Chris Berman to get it. Oh, and he delivered a roundhouse kick. Boom. But no, they got guys who actually knew this shit.
They call up Jim Ross. It's gonna be a slumber.
Oh God! Oh God! They killed him.
He killed him. He killed him. He killed him.
Oh no! He was about to hit the Tatsumaki Seppukaku.
I would fucking watch esports if I would watch esports if Jim Ross. If Jim Ross commentated on something like Dota 2, by God, that Phil ripped him in half, son of a bitch, son of a bitch.
And then Jerry the King Lawler was like, oh no,
oh puppies.
Oh, that's what happened right there. Puppies.
When he sees Maya or something like that.
Oh, seriously, when did Jerry Lawler become like a really high-pitched mute? Or something? Puppies.
He sounds like a Larry Herd.
I'm just saying. God. Charles Nelson Riley. Anyway.
We really do need Jim Ross, man.
It's just great. We need more of these programs. We need more of these programs where the esports commentators are running the show. And shit, get fucking Jim Ross in there. Seriously. I'll spin it, pile driver! By God! Get Jim Ross to do everything. But no, you get the right commentators. You get the right commentators, you get the right energy, you get the right production team. Even if they bring out the wrong player and introduce him as someone else, I'm like, okay, that happened. But it's so great to see that Street Fighter V and Evo in general was respectfully shown the right way on ESPN, and I think now they're going to get more involved with that shit. I'd love to see that.
I hope so.
Did they only show Street Fighter, or they showed? They
did the Street Fighter finals. They did the Street Fighter finals.
It was a Capcom Gold.
Yeah, I mean they couldn't do the whole Evo weekend thing.
No man, they got to do something. They got to do
that dodgeball?
Where's that Guilty Gear, man? That was a good game.
Where's my Killer Instinct shit?
But you know what? You know what's going to happen now, though? There's going to be a generation of kids who are going to see this and train their ass off, and they have this.
I want to be Long Island Joe.
Dude, there was wasn't there like an 8-year-old kid a couple of years ago who tore ass through like into the top 30?
Oh shit! You know what?
Oh yeah, there was.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
He'd be like, "What did your 8-year-olds? Oh, he shit in the toilet. That's fantastic."
Nah.
By the way, I have Geraldo Rivera on my TV right now. This is hilarious. He looks like just like Long Island Joe's father.
He looks like Danny Trejo. I'm telling you.
Hilarious. We had Evo on ESPN. Good shit. Anyway, so let's move on here. So this is interesting. So earlier this week, Nintendo stock actually put them above Sony. Like they were actually overcame Sony for a while. People were going crazy, like, "Oh my God, Nintendo's destroying everybody." And then the stock went down because people started selling their shares. You know. So I really want to use this timer here to talk about Pokemon Go. This is all because of Pokemon Go, right? Okay. How long is this shit gonna last? We touched on this on the last episode of Throwdown, but obviously since we have like an all new cast here, I want to get your quick thoughts on it. You know, Andre, man, what's your thoughts?
6 months. 6 months. 6 months strong.
You know what?
Because they're supposed to add so many features over the next few weeks that by the time Christmas rolls around, you might actually be battling people. So
here's the thing. You need to make sure you have the content. I mean, look at Mitomo. All Mitomo had was a bunch of outfits and the same fucking questions over and over and over again. But then you have something like Pokemon Go, and people are running around Comic-Con. Oh, I gotta go dive into the ocean. There's a Bulbasaur. I gotta get that shit. Or whatever. They fall into ponds. They fall off cliffs. They have car accidents. Idiots. But if they can keep up the content. Because it's made like what, $45 million in 2 weeks. I mean,
something like that.
It's a cash cow. It's going to continue making money because people love that shit. But it's just a matter of making sure the momentum is kept up, and not only that, but also servers. Because I heard the first night at Comic-Con, everybody's all freaking out because I can't connect. Oh my God, I can't connect.
Oh God! And the game's just been released in Japan, so things are about to get really crazy.
Oh yeah,
Docomo's got some really strong. Their servers are really strong, so I don't know. They'll have some issues, but not like us. We've had some like stupid issues. That's
you want to know the thing is that everybody keeps talking about Nintendo. Nintendo only owns about 33% of the Pokemon company, the company that actually made, commissioned this game to be made. If you look at the menu of when this game starts, there is no mention of Nintendo. Nintendo does make money off of this game, but not as much as the actual Pokemon company does. And I mean, granted, they are they own most of the share, the biggest share of the Pokemon company, but in general, I don't think that they have that much, a whole lot of say as to what exactly the Pokemon company does. It invests into and what things they do. I mean, theoretically, Pokemon company could leave. Say, Nintendo, we do not want you to handle our games anymore.
Yeah, but
they can, but actually, I think Nintendo bought Game Freaks like 5 years ago. So
well, again, who's it? I mean, obviously they have a contract with Nintendo to do these games, but if the contract runs out, they can easily say no, we don't want to do this. I mean, Pokemon Go is the perfect. What if they actually did put out a legitimate Pokemon game on there, which Pokemon Go might eventually turn into? There's more people own cell phones than they do the 3DSs. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
Right.
And they're
that's the thing with it, because they're supposed to, when they're adding all these new features that they're supposedly been rolling out they're supposed to be announcing some stuff soon, I think. You know, the battling system and the fact that you'll be able to interact more with people instead of just walking around. You know, you just walk around and catch Pokemon. You actually be able to battle people. That'll bring a new aspect to the game. So more people will probably play it then. So it'll be just more stuff for them to do it. And plus, it's really, I mean, I've gotten reports from people that like work at GameStop and stuff. Like people are actually they're playing Pokemon Go. They haven't touched Pokemon since the Game Boy days.
Exactly.
Or not even at all. But now they're buying 3DSs and 2DSs to play Pokemon now. And now with Sun and Moon coming out, this is just more press. This is just more money for them. This is more.
So, I mean,
I got people now who've never played a Pokemon game in their life, and they're playing the hell out of Pokemon Go. I'm like, okay, so now you need to get into. Come over. Let me show you the real deal. See if you can get into that. I don't know. I think it's great all across the board. Personally, that's just me.
Yeah,
I think it's great for everybody.
The thing is that
except for these idiots are getting hurt playing the game.
What I want to know is I don't care about what Nintendo's stock is doing. I want to know what Pokemon Company's stock is doing.
Oh, it's probably
the company that actually owns the property.
They're bathing in pools of cocaine right now.
Yeah, Pokemon Company's never had an issue.
No.
They're always going to be good. So.
But yeah,
I wouldn't worry about Pokemon Go. It's going to be around. I mean, it's a far more interactive thing than Mitomo is. It gets people out of the fucking house, and that's the thing I don't get. People complain about Pokemon. I mean, I don't play Pokemon Go, but more power to the people that do and walk around 10 miles and collect all the Zubats.
These people are more active and they're having more fun. I know people who I haven't seen in years. I'm like, what are you doing? Oh, I'm playing Pokemon Go. I'm like, okay, and it's like I see them. I'll go play it for a little bit. I think I'm like level 5. I don't even play the game that much. I'm like, because I play Pokemon games. That's but I go out and I meet with my friends and I see them and it's like, oh I've lost 15 pounds. I'm getting out more active. My back's not hurting anymore. I'm out getting more exercise. I'm like, well, hey,
son.
That's more power to you.
Yeah,
I'm like, that's perfect, man.
They walk to their local church, which is the Pokemon Center. You ever notice that? Yeah, I mean, for those of you who have played, my girlfriend's currently playing. You ever notice how all the churches are like the Pokemon centers?
And the preachers are not happy about it because it's the devil. I'm like, oh my god.
Some of them have embraced it. Some of them say, get your Pokemon and come in for the Lord.
I saw a slide on the church.
I saw the slide and said that.
Hold on, I got to post something in the chat so you guys see. This is
I posted something. I saw a strip club be like, "Come on in, we got our lures."
Oh, yeah. Some because also you have to understand that some people you can actually, I think certain places can be set up as Pokemon stops as the actual people. So that's why you'll find weird Pokemon stops where in my area, there are Pokemon stops in 2 cemeteries that are close to here.
Oh shit!
Yeah. I live in a capital.
Calls the truck stop his stop.
There's also one. I mean, obviously we've seen it in the church. Also, like a gym that my girlfriend goes to, that's also a Pokemon stop. Also, let's see what else. There's also been other kind of goofy areas, and I think that definitely people start to set those up as.
Jose, does your kid play Pokemon Go?
Nah.
He's busy enjoying Batman vs Superman. So.
Oh shit.
Actually,
no,
he's too busy playing Super Smash Bros.
There you go. I do like how some of these businesses are flourishing. They're offering up 10% things and everything like that. Yeah, but I do see one negative thing. And that's the bullshit between teams and everything like that. Oh, you're Team Valor? Well, fuck you. Get off my doorstep. I'm Team Mystic. Get off my doorstep. I don't care if I'm dating you.
Yeah. I was waiting on that. I was like, oh my god, here we go.
I made a joke on Twitter not long ago. I'm like, I said, Comic-Con goers, be careful because Team Rocket might want to steal your phone. And then I posted a picture. Of these. I said of cosplayers that are Team Rocket, and they're just like, be careful of these 2 suspicious characters.
No, but it's crazy. I actually wrote a story today about a guy who he actually captured every Pokemon in the game, right? Mm-hmm. He walked almost 200 miles. It's fucking crazy. You know.
Hey,
And
these people are.
how much does he weigh now?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Look at that picture I posted in there. Basically, if you guys seen those old things, it's like before and after people do a specific drug, like cocaine, alcohol.
Right.
They look fucked up, right? So the Pokemon Go one was the best one. Had a fat dude, right? And then the next picture afterwards, he's skinny. You know.
Now the thing is that is that a real Pokemon Go player? That'd be
You're missing the point.
No.
You're missing the point.
I know.
No, the
but
thing
that'd
is,
be even better
that's
if it
happened
was.
though. I've seen that. Yeah,
You're
that's
trying to say,
crazy.
because I was about to say a really fucked up joke, but I won't do that on air. Anyway, so let's move on here. It's okay. So last week we brought you NPDs, right? But it was only for hardware. They actually released the software this year. This week. Very interesting because they changed everything around. They kind of made NPDs really irrelevant because before they used to attract game sales, actual game sales. Right now it's how much money a game is made. So I'm like,
You got a link?
cares? Yeah, I got you, man. So right now, here's the other interesting take about this. Overall game sales, hardware sales were down 22% this year from last year, right? And that was because Batman Arkham Knight didn't come out this year. You know, that was the big game from last year, which boosted the industry. But overall hardware, all that shit is going down, you know, so maybe it's just
Jesus Christ.
you see this shit, right?
Holy shit. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, I mean, it looks
Wow.
And
That's. I haven't seen numbers like that in a long time. That's. Wow.
and,
You have to
and,
understand, like last year, people were going gaga over what was it, Batman Arkham Knight.
Batman, yeah, exactly.
True.
And the other thing is, and this article specifically says, like, you know, now that we know Scorpio and Neo and all that other shit's coming, people may be like, I'll wait. I'm not going to buy another console right now. So that may be, you know, influencing this as well, you know?
You know what?
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know. I just want to interject something.
Go ahead, brother.
It bothered me. We did our podcast last week, and I said something about we were talking about E3 again, and I was like, then what is Microsoft doing? Have they lost their minds? I mean, what
Well, I was asking that at E3 when they revealed the Xbox One S to be like, oh, by the way, we're working on Scorpio. Ah.
I was like, but I'm like, okay, everything was Xbox One and PC.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So there's nothing that's just Xbox One?
That we got a lot.
Are you trying to sell consoles? I mean, what was the purpose? What was the purpose? I mean, I understand it was the games.
They're trying to make it accessible across the board because they know PC sales could add up just as well as Xbox One sales.
Exactly.
Right.
But to me, it's like, you know, we said this on the last episode, though. It's like,
I'm like,
if you have a really good gaming PC, you don't need an Xbox anymore.
Right.
You really don't.
like my buddy just bought it. Just built a really decent gaming PC, and he was like, okay, I guess I'll buy a PS4 now. And I'm like, what? He's like, oh, I don't need an Xbox One. Everything's coming to PC. I'm like, yeah. And I was thinking about that. I was like, so do you want to sell consoles? What are you trying to do? Because gaming PCs are still kind of a little still pricey, but not as much as they used to be. But I mean,
to be honest, I feel like Microsoft really just wants to phase out the Xbox.
I think so too.
I think that's the future. I mean, a lot of the Xbox fans don't want to hear something like that, but I think it makes the most sense. I think if anything, if they do keep the Xbox around, it's just like one of their tablets.
But if that's the case, if they are trying to go over to PC market, what's the story with Scorpio?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm like. Why are you doing this then? If you're doing
if they are trying to phase out the console.
And I'm like, but you didn't do anything specifically for the console, and that's what I'm kind of like. I'm like going around to people like, what are you trying to do? What's the deal? What's the plan? Because if you're trying to sell consoles, it's not working.
Yeah,
it's not working.
If they are truly trying to phase out the Xbox, they would not have introduced the Scorpio unless the Scorpio is going to have PC-related features that are going to blow.
Well, I mean, I'm going to say this. I mean, why do they keep making new tablets?
I don't know.
If you can buy a desktop,
because people.
I bought a fucking iPad. I don't know.
You know what? If you can have a desktop PC and you can have a handheld like whatever PC. I mean, why do they still make them? Because there's a need for it. I mean, I still think that people who don't want to deal with the PC, all the bullshit that comes with PC games, will still continue to buy.
Yeah, the Scorpios for them. Yeah, that's what Jose. We're gonna say.
I get that. I'm just trying to look. I'm looking at the future. I'm like, what do you? I mean, That's my whole thing.
Not everybody wants to mess with their fucking drivers and their controller not working when they stick it into the USB port and the compatibility with their games and the actual video card that they have in their fucking.
Yeah, see, this is what I want. I want a system. I want a game. I want to play the game on my system. I don't want to upgrade the fucking memory card to 15 billion. What was it? What was the term they used? Teraflops. Teraflops. You can teraflop out the fucking door.
On my Twitter, I had asked the question that if this was before before Microsoft confirmed it. I had put out the question on my Twitter that if the same people running the current Xbox One were to run. Well, basically, I asked, what good is an Xbox Scorpio going to do if the same people running it are still running it when the Scorpio comes out? And of course, I got my fair share of heat, but
of course,
I felt like it was a valid question because currently, the Xbox One brand is in shambles. Like they're trying, but it seems like every step forward they take several steps back because they don't know how to let go of an old formula that they felt worked at the time. This is not back in the day when the Xbox 360 was in price, the cheaper console to buy, and had a year head start before the PS3, and it had some kick-ass exclusive games that came out during the first 3 years of its launch.
Right.
This is not that time, and people have grown up. People have expanded their likes, their taste in what type of video games they play. Sony has grasped that, and I attribute that to experience. Sony's had, just having Mark Cerny there is invaluable, in my opinion. Having Mark Cerny as an important part of your console is, you can't replace that. And here you got, and Phil Spencer did, some game development himself, and people always mock. What's homeboy's name? That
Don Matrick.
Yeah, people mock him, right? But doing a little research, my man was developing games at the age of 18 for EA Canada. So, so people were like, "Oh, he's a suit and tie. He doesn't know video games." And I'm like, "Really, motherfuckers? Why don't you do a little research?" I said, and I questioned the Xbox, those Phil Spencer, Aaron Greenberg, and I always joke around that those guys aren't going to last long. That one of them is going to work for Zynga or EA, because if you look at the history of the brand, guys like Jay Allard, Peter Moore, you had some big industry.
Man, that was the days.
Running the Xbox, and they left. I'm like, how can you leave?
You want to know why they left?
Because they have no control.
Yeah, it's because they had no control. The first guy that was a part of the games division of Xbox, the guy thought seriously out of the box. Like he got all those Japanese developers to work for it. He got all those other guys to do things that they would to get them to support the game. You fucking Blue Dragon.
Yeah,
you're telling me
I was just getting ready to say that.
The guy who created Final Fantasy, you got to make a exclusive, like a bunch of exclusive games for the console.
Lost Odyssey.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So,
I think the problem isn't Microsoft's games. The problem is. But yeah, you have to understand, Microsoft still has its touch when it comes to certain games. It helped Playdead make Inside, because it's going to be Xbox One exclusive for a while until, whatever. It made its marketing deal with Rise of the Tomb Raider, and that did really well for them, before obviously announced PS4 version. And they had Quantum Break, which I thought was an awesome game. I thought Quantum Break was really well done in terms of storytelling and everything. The problem is, like, part of the business decisions revolving around those games. Like, their E3 presentation, there was some stuff to get excited about, sure, but they didn't do enough to get excited about. They thought by building a Project Scorpio, like I said, in the same show where they announced the Xbox One S, was a big fuck up.
I thought that was a big mistake.
You know what you do? Here's what you do. You pour money into millions of dollars development, and you make Red Dead Redemption 2 a system exclusive for a year. That's how you get the...
Rockstar ain't going to do that.
That's what I kept saying.
Rockstar ain't going to do that.
I kept telling people that when this generation started, I was like, I've never said this before in my life, but exclusives are gonna matter this generation, and it has proven so. The exclusives this gen are just killing it. I mean, because you have the freedom to do whatever you want. The game developer has the freedom to make whatever game they want because it's exclusive. They don't have to worry about.
And they have the first-hand experience with the hardware.
And I'm like,
Exactly.
that's what Microsoft needs to do that with the Xbox One. Yes, I know you want to make stuff for PC too. You got to get people to buy the Xbox One, and I'm sorry, a lot of people are just gonna be like, yeah, just get a PC.
Well, the Xbox One is.
It's still good. I mean, it's still doing great.
Their main concern is Xbox Live, how many subscribers, how much money they can make from that.
Mhm.
And in my opinion, they screwed up by not supporting studios, by not having more first-party studios and coming out with new freaking ideas instead of depending on third-party publishers to come up with these exclusive deals. That's
I do like their indie section that the indie department.
yeah.
I'm with that. I'm cool with that. That's good. I like that because I'm ready for Cuphead. Come on. Oh my god.
Yeah, I've been waiting for that.
Cuphead,
man.
yeah, exactly.
Killing me.
But also, you see the types of investments that they can make, though.
Right.
You know, with this, like, I mean, granted, you know, Cuphead obviously is not going to cost as much of a Halo as a Halo game, but they can make a quick little investment in something like that, you know, to get them to do their game.
They can build on something, you know.
Yeah,
They can build on something there.
They can build on partnerships. That's what I'm saying. If they had poured money into Rockstar Games and given them a 3-month exclusive window in Red Dead Redemption 2, that would have made a difference. Would people still get it on PS4? Sure. People are still going to buy Rise of the Tomb Raider on PS4 this year, even though it's been amazing on Xbox One. But the thing is, by putting that money into what people want and everything like that, because I don't know how many people were screaming out for Scalebound. I mean, I know it's coming, and it looks pretty kick-ass, but I mean, like, how many people were saying, I want a Dragon game by Platinum? You know, nobody. You know,
Well,
they you know, meet the demand. Gears of War 4, they did do that, which was nice. But there are some things in which they still need to kind of meet the fan demand. You know, there's something. You know, it's like, you know, this backward compatibility thing. Oh, we're seeing a bunch of great games that are coming up, but we're also seeing shit. Who's going to play Flock on Xbox One? Besides JVB, who likes Sheik, obviously. But you know, you get my point. We wanted Red Dead Redemption, and we waited a whole year after they announced, you know, backwards compatibility. You work your ass off to give what people what they want. You know, they want Black Ops 2 backwards compatible. Work with Activision, get that shit done. Bring the people, keep the people.
I mean, that's the thing that can keep them afloat right now. But I mean, they got they got a long library to use. So I mean, I think that's a good idea.
No, but see, the thing is, if they're gonna continue their current trend and how they're dealing with exclusive and game releases, I mean, it's been a joke the last 3 years where it's a few games early in the year and then focus on the holidays. I mean, you leave a huge gap where there's nothing for your fan base.
And that sucks.
If that's going to continue, which if you look at the current track record, if it continues for the fucking Scorpion, why even bother buying a Scorpion if the support for studios still
Scorpio.
It's Scorpion.
Yeah, Scorpio.
Get over here. Buy a Scorpion.
Yeah. So if the same people running it are going, and it seems like the team has gotten so much smaller. If the same people are running it, you're gonna have the same fucking results because you don't have the studios, and you don't have right now. You have the perception favors Sony, and rightfully so, because they done. It seems like they stepped on shit. And they got not lucky. They have the experience, and now you know Adam Boyle's leaving and things like that. But the foundation is there. So honestly, Sony doesn't even have to bring out a freaking 4K version or whatever. But if they do, they're gonna do it right. They're not going to alienate their fan base like Microsoft is going to do with the Scorpio or the Scorpion, whatever the fuck it's called. And I said this.
I don't want to correct him either.
I said this a year and a half ago. I said if anybody needs to come out with new hardware, it's going to be Microsoft because they have nothing else in their pocket. They don't have any more cards to play. They're gonna have to be like, you know what? Let's bite the bullet, launch a new console. And I feel that's what we're getting next year. Holiday season is a brand new.
I also think that they might be trying to get rid of the Xbox One name.
Mm-hmm.
Not calling it Scorpio, but literally calling it Xbox something else.
Because the Xbox, let's just be real now. Xbox One brand is so tainted.
Xbox booty.
Anything we bring an Xbox One because the Xbox One is tainted. People still talk about that fucking disastrous launch event. People still remember that shit, DRM, all that nonsense.
The messaging was screwed up by the big wigs, and you notice that some of them are gone. Look at Phil Harrison. He left. And I joked around. I'm like, man, Sony paid him big time to be a double agent because he screwed up Microsoft at that E3.
Yeah. There is one interesting piece of the picture that we still have yet to see, and I think I'm understanding why they may be so patient, is Nintendo. I mean, they've got the holidays covered with the mini NES. That's going to make them a bank. They're perfectly fine with that. But next year, it's going to be interesting to see what they bring with their NX in terms of what they learned from the Wii U, what they learned from fucking up Star Fox. Thanks, Nintendo. What they did. But it's just a matter of if they can apply what they learned and give the gamers what they want, they could get back into the game just as easily.
Well, we'll see about that.
I'm just saying. Imagine a Pokemon game. If there was a Pokemon game that worked on the same interactive levels Pokemon Go is right now, boom, everybody would be like, "Oh my god, I can't wait for the NX."
It's a Western developed game. The Japanese usually don't look at that stuff.
Mm-hmm. It's just a matter of all, you got Microsoft and Sony trying to push new hardware at the door, not sure how they're going to market it and everything like that. And if people are going to drop $400 on a Project Scorpio after they just spent $300 something on an Xbox One, whereas Nintendo's, they're taking their time. They didn't reveal anything at E3 or anything like that. They're making sure all the bases are covered. They're making sure they don't fucking blow it like they did with the Wii U. And the Wii U has its good games. But they did fucking blow it in terms of marketing.
They have a new direction. They have a new direction that they're going into, man. And all I can say is just you just wait.
Number one, hopefully they did learn their lesson by maybe showing the fucking console this time around.
Yeah, they need to do that, man.
Maybe a couple of other things that they need to. I mean, but the thing is that I still feel like they still have quite a bit to learn. I feel like they come from the mentality of we're Nintendo and you like Nintendo, rather than actually, coming to the demand, a little bit of the demand of the people. We want a good Metroid game. Are we going to get a good Metroid game? I don't know. I don't think so. We'll probably get another. We'll probably get whatever the hell that other Metroid game was, the broken one.
Are you talking about Other M?
Other M, where they totally gimped Samus.
I said this on Throwdown. As long as Nintendo gives me a console with a regular controller, no bullshit, I will at least consider it. But
well, that's called the mini NES.
Yeah, right.
Can you stick your old NES controllers into there? By the way.
No, yeah, you could use classic controllers in the Wii U and the Wii.
You stick your original Nintendo controller in the mini NES.
You know how small that thing is?
No, it's too
Isn't it sad?
Wii controllers for that, yeah.
Isn't it sad that this is the most excited you've seen people for a Nintendo product in a while? It's like,
hey, sometimes you got to go with what works.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. Hey.
You're telling me kids aren't going to be excited to open up like a $60 system? Oh, wait, what are these? Oh, my gosh, these are the games Mom and Dad played. Well, I got to see how these are. And it kind of opens up that little plethora of discovery. It's a neat idea. It doesn't work for everybody. Like, I'm trying to figure out why the fuck Wisdom Tree's bringing out, what was it?
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Oh, my God. Don't.
Who wants to play Super 3D Noah's Ark besides
Don't even bring that up, man. I saw that crap. I was like, are these? I was like, man.
God.
What are they smoking? And
it's because they saw the angry
somebody else.
They saw the angry video game nerds reviews of it, and it's like, oh, we have a market.
Yep.
People love to play bad video games now and complain about them on YouTube.
Yep. Exactly.
Oh man,
I'm just saying there's a right way to do things and there's a wrong way to do things. It's going to be interesting how the market pans out over this next year to see what Sony does with their 4K, to see what Microsoft brings to the picture with Project Scorpio, and more importantly, if Nintendo can catch back up. And I mean, we talk about how like Nintendo, their stock went through the roof and then they dropped like a rock and everything like that. But that's the thing about this market is like nobody expected Nintendo to release a plug and play system based on the NES and get the mega fucking buzz that it did. I mean, people are excited about this thing, even though I probably already have an NES with all these games. I'm like, I'm going to pick it up anyway because this is pretty nice to have in the living room with an HDMI.
Yeah, $60. I mean,
that's a value right there. That's a good value.
It is. I mean, I'm just saying, this industry can still surprise. I mean, it does have its negativity, yeah, but it also has this ability to really just take us by storm and surprise the shit out of us.
But then again, earlier in the program, we were talking about how people want new things, but yet we kind of give it a pass for doing the same things.
Well, it's the familiarity. I think it's a matter of they want something familiar, but they want it in a new light, like Battlefield 1. Taking place in World War I. They want that level of 64-player multiplayer and everything like that, but they don't want, space. They want, I want a bayonet. I want a biplane. Well,
the difference between Nintendo is that when they release, let's say Mario Galaxy 3 or whatever, there's going to be different play elements added to an already existing solid gameplay experience, visual, get touched up, and they'll take their time. Yeah. Release it when it's ready. That's the difference with Nintendo.
Yeah, see, that's what I think. I think a lot of companies are taking that into account. Where like, okay, we need to get this game done when we're ready for it to be done, and not bow to the pressure of whoever the publisher is. Because when you bow to the pressure of the publisher, you come up with a half. Then you gotta worry about patching it, and then you got to do all this stuff. I say now you're just working harder. You're working harder instead of working smarter. If you just waited another month, you would have just I mean, I like Street Fighter V. I understand why they came out the way it did. I understand that. I don't agree with it, but whatever. I'm not I'm not in the fighting game community.
The
game. I'm a fan, and I consider myself a fighting game fan. I'm a little bit part of it, but I'm not hard like that though.
That's exactly what the problem was, though, because they weren't thinking of you as a fighting game fan. They were thinking about those competitive guys.
Yeah, those guys last night. I bitch about this, and Andre, I think you read my editorial about this, right? It's like, yo, they left us behind, and I've been playing fucking Street Fighter since 1992, man.
Exactly. Me and this guy, we would go through the fucking arcade mode, get all the goddamn endings. In friggin' games like Soul Calibur, you get all the weapons.
Yep.
Those are the things. I mean, you have to realize who your real audience is. Yes, there are fighting game fans that play these games and you play it for hours and hours on online mode and all that stuff. But the thing is, who is buying your games out there? Who are you trying to attract? You're trying to attract the guys who like playing fighting games, but that it may not exactly be. They want to get into the whole experience. They want to hear about the incoherent story that you decided to stick inside of the game. That's great.
I'm Blanca. I have an itch.
I have an itch. Like, I'm Ryu. I like to fight, but I have an inner demon in me.
He's inside. Sometimes you have to try to cater to an audience, but if something doesn't work, there's always another game out. I mean, like, case in point, there are people who are laughing about Final Fantasy 15 because it has a car. Be like, but what? If you want an old school RPG, go play I Am Setsuna, which is like
man,
wow, boom, you are covered.
All right, okay. I haven't been on here in a while, and okay. What are you guys thinking about Final Fantasy 7?
The remake.
I just want to know if anybody's on my side on this. I'm like, okay, why do we need all this crap? Why do we need all this? Why do we need all this? This is so not what people wanted. This is not what they wanted. It just, oh my god.
Wait, Final Fantasy, you have a car? Final Fantasy 7, you have a car?
No. Okay,
no. Final Fantasy 15 has the car.
This is what people want. Okay, this is what people want, and I don't care what anybody says. This is what people want.
Keep it real.
A shot for shot, pixel for pixel. Oh, okay, not pixel for pixel. Never mind. A shot for shot remake of Final Fantasy 7. That's it.
Yeah, see, they tried to Final Fantasy 6 and it didn't work worth the shit.
Well, that's Capcom. You know how
I'm just saying,
calculated-
not everything is as simple as remaking it
Well,
from the
I mean,
pod. Imagine. Hold on.
not
Imagine if Konami tried to remake Symphony of the Night without like Igarashi.
Okay.
It
Well,
would fuck it up hardcore
Well, no,
and turn it into a
that's what I was
pachinko game.
saying. Well, that's what I was saying because Sakaguchi said that the only way he would do it was if he got the original team together. And at the time, Square Enix was like, they were like, we ain't got this kind of money. we're not doing this. And so I said, dude, just get a group of I don't care, get a group of interns, man. I don't know, get somebody to supervise them and just make an HD version of Final Fantasy VII. That's all you gotta do. We don't need this we don't need this episodic $60 a pop crap. We don't need all this crap. By the time you get done with the game, you're gonna be paying like $150, $300, $200. No,
You'll be
we don't need that crap. We don't need
know?
that crap. We don't. I mean, you don't have to do a shot-for-shot remake, but just take the game, look at the game, and go, okay, this is what we can update, but stay true to the original. That's all people want. We don't need all this garbage, man. I'm like, what? And then it's gonna take who knows when the game's coming out? I mean, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, hold on, Andre. I gotta ask you a question. Okay, did you play the remake of Final Fantasy IV? Not the polygon one, the pixelated one. Did you play that one on PSP?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, that's what you kind of wanted, that equivalent, right? Like you take the old game, but just make it look better, you know?
Dude, I would even take Crisis Core. You know what I'm saying? If you do a Final Fantasy VII like Crisis Core, I would take that. Because you really want people to experience Final Fantasy VII in a new way, not reinvent the wheel. I mean, now the wheel's fucking square. What the fuck are you guys doing? It's just, oh my god.
The wheel is square.
Kiss me in caveman.
No, hey, we're gonna reinvent the wheel by making it square. Yeah, that makes a lot of fucking sense. I'm like, oh my god. I was talking to somebody about it a couple weeks ago, and I was like, it just drove me nuts. Because I was like,
here's what you got to understand, Andre, is that not everybody understands nostalgia.
Right.
Like Inafune thought it was a great idea to remake Mega Man into Mighty Number 9, and look how well that went over. Not everybody.
Despite all of your naysaying,
I don't hate it.
I'm enjoying the game.
I don't hate it either.
I'm enjoying the game.
I don't think it's bad, but people are shitting all over because, this isn't what I grew up with.
Like it wasn't supposed to be.
And then I tell him go play Mega Man. That's
a tricky subject.
When Andre, I went back to Mega Man, and I love that shit.
Did you beat any of those Mega Man games? No,
but I loved it.
You played about as much as you did in
Mighty
Number 9.
But it was better than Mighty Number 9. That's the point.
No, but you're also seeing that through the nostalgia glasses as well. It's like, I remember playing it.
Yeah, but there's just a slight problem, Manny. I was at E3 playing motherfucking Bloodstained, and that was exactly what I wanted. That's exactly what I fucking wanted.
That's what I'm talking about right there.
That's the thing. Nostalgia. Nostalgia is such a tricky path unless you know exactly what you're doing, because Mighty Number 9 they delayed it so often that I think they lost track of what they were wanting to do.
Right.
Igarashi and his team, they're knowing exactly what the fuck they're doing with Bloodstained, and I am excited as shit for that.
I also feel like that also with Igarashi, he has a lot of the people that originally worked on those sorts of games. So it's not a situation where it's like Inafune, who has they even said they have quite a bit of new people working on this game, rather than a bunch of people who have been time tested and know how these sorts of games work.
Right.
Yeah, but if you're gonna do that sort of stuff, you gotta do it right, man. Remember Sonic 4, right? Okay, how do you fuck that up?
Simple. You split it into 2 games and you fuck up the controls.
For one, you don't hire the guys who made the Sonic Fan Remix game. For one, that was a big mistake. I said, dude, instead of shutting down the game, you should hire these guys. These guys made a better game than you did, and it was just a demo.
Crazy, man.
I mean, it was like I said. I mean, the Final Fantasy thing. I mean, it's people always want to play it and they want it back, and I'm like, that's fine. I just the direction is just kind of like, where the hell were you going with
Well,
this?
here's the thing. I think Square Enix was shoehorned into making it because everybody asked for it, but it was like, well, if we're going to make this, we're going to make this our way. You know, you have to have a team that is truly devoted. There are ways you can reboot a game and make it feel like friggin' nostalgic. And that, for an example, I once again bring up Doom, which was
Right.
the ideal way to bring back, I mean, even with its multiplayer, it was the ideal way to bring back that franchise. There are right ways to do it, and there are complicated ways to doing it, and not everybody's going to see that. You know, people are going to be excited for Final Fantasy VII Remake. I mean, I feel where your concerns are, Andre. It is a different game, but you have to understand people are still going to go gaga over the nostalgia, no matter what it is.
Like I said, I'll get it, but because I'm a Final Fantasy, I'm a Final Fantasy whore,
That's
goddamn.
like saying, I hate Ghostbusters, but I'll see this.
I'll see. Oh yeah.
This goes back to what we were talking about before. Why we don't like these practices, but we still fucking endorse them,
Because
man.
you know why? Because I got a feeling it's gonna be fun, and I'm gonna find my way. I'm gonna find my way to play it before it comes out. So I'll make my decision before I buy it, and I'm gonna find my way to play it, and I'm gonna go if it's terrible, I'm gonna be like, oh.
Can I just say something? Can I just say something real quick?
ahead,
There
brother.
was a point in time where we doubted stuff when it was in development. And one example I have from this is Metroid Prime. When Metroid Prime was announced, people went apeshit. They were like, well, fuck this. You are taking my beloved side-scrolling franchise and you're making it a first-person shooter and you're going to bastardize and it's going to be terrible and everything like that. And then the game came out. What the fuck? This game is amazing! I can't believe it! You know, they flip like a dime, you know. And
then Nintendo immediately
always
said, "Oh,
room
this
for-
is not canon."
Yeah, no, I agree with you. on
then
that.
other M and be like, what the fuck happened now?
They're like, they're like other M is canon. Metroid Prime not canon.
By the
I'll
way,
take
am I-
non-canon if I can shoot a cannon, please.
Yeah, am I the only one who's not down on the Final Fantasy remake? Because I'm like, if I want to play old Final Fantasy VII, I can just play that one. I'm okay. with that remake.
I'm not completely down on it. I'm just like, come on.
I'll still buy it.
Yeah, I mean,
You know what I want to see them remake? The Bouncer.
Oh,
Get out of here!
I love
next
that
thing you're
game.
gonna talk about
You know what?
automobiles.
It was a fun game.
I love that
quiet.
game.
I had fun playing with it. I had
They
fun
can make
playing
that
it.
game good. Like
I
I like the way this guy puts the 1 for a guy who never even fucking played the game. He doesn't make no face.
It's funny, funny.
Vampire Rain 2.
They got so bad.
Vampire Rain. Oh man.
Where's my Dark Sector 2? goddammit?
I
Where?
want to see Flood Rain remake.
Oh, Blood Rain, no, stop it. All right, so
We wouldn't stop staring at that ass.
yeah, right. All right, so that'll actually be it for the show because I don't want to run too fucking long. Guys, thank you so fucking much. You made the show even better than I thought it was going to be.
Oh man.
That's how we do it. I mean, whenever me and
Homeboy
JBB are in a room, that's how it works.
Yeah,
Homeboy
man.
said he's beating me in handsomeness by 1 billion. I just saw that. I was like, this motherfucker.
You've been sitting here for 2 hours, and I've been hovering that over you. Be like, he's not going to notice. He's not going to.
At the last minute, he noticed it, you know. But anyway, I want to let you guys plug your shit, obviously. So, Andre, we'll start with you, man. We will find you and all
He's
that.
always plugging his shit.
I'm always.
Hey, I'm just glad Andre's back. Welcome back.
Yeah,
Andre.
definitely.
Hey man, I appreciate it, man. Thanks, man. RealOtakuGamer.com. I'm a Taku Man 5000 everywhere on the planet. Let me think. What a Real Gamer Show. We're back finally. My God. Just man, I just want to thank everybody for everything you guys have just being down with me since I came back and since all this stuff and everything, man. I just want you guys to know that, man. The whole community, man. I owe you guys so much I can't even express it. It's crazy, but I appreciate it, man. And she's laughing at me right now because I'm doing another podcast. So
Yeah.
it's like about time you got back on there doing the podcast. I'm like, yeah, okay. But yeah, I appreciate you so much, man.
That's what's up, man. And you're the king of Follow Friday, man. Every Friday I get that.
Dude, like the whole page.
Look, man.
Looking for me.
That is how much I love all of you guys. You guys just don't know.
Yeah, I used to do those, and I always coupled JVB in the Friday Weirdo Squad.
Oh, shit.
I have a runaway Wednesday,
yeah, man.
and DCD's
I
the only
can't-
one in there.
I can't show love to everybody individually, so I have to just like blast it out, man. If I could get on a megaphone and be like, "Thank you, Tony," and JVB and
Go the fuck to
DCD.
sleep. Go the fuck to sleep.
I'll be up for like 5 years getting everybody shout outs.
What you got to do is you got to make a video and just put that out every week.
Oh
man.
yeah, dude.
I might just do that. I'll do something. It'll be like a.
If you want to find your name, you're at 5 minutes 13 seconds. That's
Yeah,
it.
I have to ship a DVD.
Oh man, Robert, man, plug your shit.
Don't say that. First off, Andre, I'm glad you're back, man. Absolutely. And JVB, I don't know why we don't do more podcasts. These are fun, man. Even if it's just digging back and forth. Well, you know what else? You know, your teeth are so yellow. They're, you know, whatever it was. But it's always a pleasure to do a podcast with you, JVB. We need to do more of these. Tell me we will. Yeah. And of course, Tony, all you guys there. Brett, wherever he went, he vanished.
Yeah, he disappeared.
Thanks again for having me on Throwdown. It's always fun to do these shows and talk with everybody. And I'll tell you, next time you have HipHopGamer, I'll come on and I'll be like, Draft Club sucks, and then I'll leave.
We'll make sure to make that happen.
He'll throw stuff around. Son of a bitch, what do you you know? But you can find me at twitter.com/thedcd. You can find me Facebook, Robert Workman. As far as when I'm working, I'm actually trying to work on something new. So for now, you can find my reviews at maroonersrock.com. And yeah, you can find me YouTube. Well, you could just find me anywhere. I'm pretty easy.
Find them at any local truck stop.
Shut up.
Glory holding that shit up.
You know, yeah. JVB Millwall's at the tattoo shop. Make sure it's a cow that says Mary. And fuck Soldier.
Anytime DCD gets a shout out.
Oh wow. Okay. By the way, Jose, I'm surprised you didn't jump in when he said I'm trying something new. I was expecting you to jab him.
Oh really? Are you gonna take a mime classes? Yeah.
He's trying
Jose,
something new,
man,
wiping his ass for once.
Jose, man, I hope you enjoyed the Throwdown experience.
Well, I
man.
lost the hamster. What do you expect?
Long, man. You guys are crazy, man. I'm talking about
Right. You give JVB his shout out. It's gonna be like this. I'd like to thank him and lovely yak named Steve. He was great.
I'll be up there like Michael Jackson. Up there 20 minutes.
So Jose, man, plug your stuff, man.
Plug your shit. Plug your shit.
Plug it up.
Benoit Beats. You can find me on the Post Game Report. You can find it on iTunes, and then you go my other podcast, Anything Podcast. You can find that on iTunes as well. My Twitter is at Jose V Beta, and I used to be at JVB, but I got bored of it, got rid of it. So rebuilding my little followers. And
He means the midgets, by the way.
Yes, little followers. Oompa Loompas, and my YouTube channel, Joe Beta. So yeah, I mean, you can find me in those. Back in the day, I used to have more, but now it's a lot more simplified.
Yeah, you can also catch him on Twitter, putting Xbots on blast, man.
Oh, I love it. I love it. They have even those who claim to be hardcore exposers in YouTube and stuff. They even block me without.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
And Jose, aren't you now the president of the Arnold Schwarzenegger fan club?
I'm the only
Billy.
Benny.
Seriously, we did that like back and forth on Gamers Garage. God, it was so funny as hell. What about Billy?
You guys gonna be crying. Hilarious.
We're gonna be here all night.
Yeah, so let's wrap it up.
Tony,
what's up, brother?
Before you move on, me and you, we gotta pay Hip Hop a visit.
Yeah, we do, man. We got to see that TV. We got to see PC. I cut this out of the promo.
Maybe you'll find him at Walmart.
We got to, because HipHopGamer is now a PC gamer, right? So we got to see PC games on his TV.
Yep.
You know, oh my God, that was the best day. I enjoyed that shit. Just like he was losing his mind. Like, yo, his graphics look crazy, son, on my TV.
With all that motion flow, it must look amazing.
Yeah, right. All that bullshit. Oh man, I'll get into hip hop.
His enthusiasm is addictive. I mean, he is one of the most enthusiastic people I know. You know, and he's really a trip, especially like these events and everything. Like no matter what the topic, yo, dog, I'm just, and he goes off for like 30 minutes.
Yeah, and that's who he is.
My favorite quote from him was, "My gaming experiences will now be biblical." It's like, damn. Love that.
Maybe we can get him that Wisdom Tree arcade. It'd be like, Aaron, you said biblical.
Yeah, right. Oh, man. All right, so let's wrap it up. So thank you for watching and listening. Make sure to follow the Coalition at thecoalition.com. Also help support the site by donating to the Patreon page. Just drop the Throwdown on SoundCloud, iTunes, and YouTube. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Throwdown Show. Links are available in the description below. Once again, our show is Tony Polanco and Tyler shown by Emilio Lopez.
I'll see you later, guys.
All right.
Andre Tipton. Come on, Andre, get in here, man.
Quiet. He's quiet all of a sudden.
No, he's playing the fucking Nintendo.
He's booting up Final Fantasy VII.
Okay, fuck it. Robert Workman.
JBB does it better.
And yeah, Jay and Jose Bencourt.
Who told you to take my cookies?
You look like the girl they call Snooky.
Put that cookie down.
Not on the carpet.
Okay, great. All right. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.
I know Kung Fu.
I wish I could cry.